Yay!
Yay!
We did it. We made it. Congratulations to all of us for getting through that 10-hour discussion, which is 7.5 cut down. Excellent edit on the end there.
Excellent edit on the deliberations.
Excellent edit on all the good writing, everybody. Excellent editing on the script.
Yeah, people were asking like who wrote the things. Like we all wrote the things.
Everybody wrote something.
And you can all check that out after the fact. Some people watched this on YouTube actually. Our viewers were pretty split on platforms. It was nice.
No, half and half.
But you can check out the deliberations. You can check out the awards video on your own. This will also go up on ECLS Plays or on the main channel.
This will go main channel.
So we labeled our personal picks. So that's kind of like how our
and then Patreon has audio if you wanted to just
three
do
parts.
that for the
Because 200 megabytes limit on that Patreon there to put up an audio file.
Oh, for the deliberations.
So we had to go 3 parts, guys. 4 parts for 2020. Can we make it?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna go 4 parts.
It'd be a pleasure.
But we are tonight are going to talk. Michael Damiani is at the desk behind the camera. Sadly, Brad Ellis is not here. Brad Ellis is not feeling good.
Yeah, I do have his stuff though.
Got wiped
so I can read that out.
by those goaties.
Well,
he sent it to you to read?
You sent it to both of us, yeah.
That's what he said, but he told me he was just going out drinking in celebration of Sekiro winning. So he's not actually sick.
Fair?
Bloodworth, that's a lot of things on that notepad right there.
This is just my to-do list.
Oh, okay.
Could it be games?
Before we do top picks, can we hear your to-do list?
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm not gonna say because that's just a back burner secret.
Back burner?
Back burner secret, dude!
You had to put that one on the back burner.
The new backdoor shady deals.
It's been on the back burner for a couple of years. It's no rush. Don't worry about it.
A couple of years.
It's like timeline or something.
That's a slow cook on that back.
I have to re-download my Virtual Console games because I got my Wii U repaired or replaced. If it was just repaired, I wouldn't have a problem.
Who asked for this?
I need to. I gotta order new copies of my business cards.
Nice.
I gotta book my GDC travel.
You have to switch it to Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Really? Why do you need new copies?
Because I'm out. I'm about out.
Oh, I have
uses
hundreds
them.
of mine. He uses them. That's really funny.
Just go by Kyle for a couple months.
Yeah.
We gotta save money.
We don't need
I
to
need
hear all these.
to go in.
Kyle, there's 50 entries on this list.
Okay, I thought
I'm not gonna do this side because
Cease
it's just personal
this.
stuff.
Well, are we debating which is the top one of these?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll rank what we're
I gotta clean up the office, the library, and all that stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's low. That's low on the list.
I gotta read the 2 Witcher books and watch the Netflix thing.
High on the
That's
list.
number one.
That's number
That's
one.
number one.
That's number one.
I gotta
finished
play. I
something
won't say the
Witcher
name of the
before
game. I gotta play a game that's coming out for review.
Ooh, that's
Oh.
probably
Is that a top
two.
secret?
I've gotta.
What's The Witcher before?
I gotta submit our code request for February March releases.
Okay.
And then
Right
I got
underneath
some
The Witcher
codes
on
to
that
give
one.
away that I need to do like during a stream when somebody else is streaming sometime.
Oh, that's a good.
Just like 4 or 5
Codes, yeah,
random
that's
things.
top tier.
Um,
That's a good
You
list.
heard it here
Fun.
first.
You can say that one.
you want me to say the next thing?
Yeah, don't put context on it.
Okay. I need to learn how to play Magic the Gathering.
Sick.
And then
Like Pro Tour.
we need to do the audio for the personal picks tonight.
Woo!
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good list.
Yeah.
Planeswalkers are weird.
Yeah.
Tell me about Planeswalkers.
Just in general.
That's
See
kind of
that-
right when
see
I
that
was
like you're in a pub in the world. One of them just walked in. Planeswalkers are weird.
You
I don't
weird
trust
old
him.
Planeswalker.
So at the end of the massive day, we have been, we've been resting, we've been prepping to go live. But if you were watching, you've been watching for almost 8 hours now, about 8 hours. Us talk about the best games of 2019. We're not done. We're still going to talk about the best games of 2019. We're going to talk about our top 10 picks and potentially ones beyond that. Some of us don't have 10. Some of us have more than 10.
There's a rule.
There's a rule that we'll see if Kyle Bossman can enforce tonight. I'm down to play by the rule. I can't speak for anybody else.
So this is Huber's rule, actually. Huber invented this rule. It's called the Huber rule.
It is?
I
Yes.
feel like we have 10 things called
Okay.
Huber's Law.
You have 10 picks maximum for your personal picks, right? If you want to go over, you get a bonus 8 seconds.
I want to do mine first.
Okay.
No, we got the.
So wait, we
So
can't
it's
do
more
that.
of like do all the ones past 10.
It's the
Everything past 10, you get 8 seconds for you.
we get a
can't-
shout out. It's a shout out. It's
Yes.
an 8-second shout out.
Shout out for everything that we want to shout out.
that didn't
Yes.
make the cut.
That
You
you
get
made.
8 seconds.
Oh man,
8
I had a whole
seconds
thing
Yes.
planned.
8 seconds total.
8 seconds, baby.
If
You
you
get a
want to
whole
use
thing
it,
planned.
you don't have to.
If you have
No,
a whole
I
thing
want.
planned, then I'd
There's
say you
there's
do
things
the
I want to
thing.
shout out.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Who approved this Huber rule?
Kyle,
What
he
did I
proves
approve
everything.
it?
Why do you approve it?
I like
Because
it.
we don't need
wasn't
it.
in
It
the
was
original
just a suggestion. We don't have to use it.
Damiani, because here's the thing. I know
Why
you're
8
going to try to
seconds?
be cute and go over 10.
No,
Hugo
I
was
had to
passionate
guess
until he
like
broke
Oh,
Ben's
okay.
heart.
Damiani,
No,
Yeah.
no,
Now
no,
he's
10.
crying.
I
Ben, do you
forgot
not
the
want
ones
it?
I cut.
Oh no, it's okay.
And I gotta give shout outs to.
feel passionate about my
shout
shout outs. That's
Yeah.
all.
If a Huber has an idea in the woods and there's no blood there to say no, it happens.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
That's
We don't
too
need it.
meta.
We don't need it. Cut it.
We're not cutting.
I will read mine.
8-minute rule.
I've been inspired by you,
Yeah.
and I will cut mine.
8? Why 8
Honorable
seconds?
mentions.
It's just random.
Yeah, that's
The games that are honorable mention for me deserve 8 seconds and no more.
Yeah.
But we have our lovely stack of tarot cards,
Blood
Oh, so
is
the show's
the
going right
ones.
now?
which we will go
you
through.
don't
I don't
know
know. We'll
what's
see.
going
Let's see what the cards say. Everybody ready?
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. Yeah,
it's
Ben
Ben.
Moore right
Ben
off the top.
I knew after that whole interaction it was going to be
Right off the top. Ben,
Come
show us
on
how
up.
it's done.
Come on up, Ben.
All right, you got to
Come
tell
on.
me.
Stand there.
Thank
Blanket
you for
on,
a good
Ben.
subs.
Go
Stand
up.
there. Yeah. Do you want me to leave the blanket?
Blanket on.
the award
Patron
blanket.
Good smallpox. Big swedge. Gifted
Potch,
a bunch
thank
of
you.
subs.
Big wedge. Thank you. Big wedge 3.
No,
All right.
3 is the E.
I saw.
I just have to,
Bobby Box Burns.
10 seconds set up the 8 seconds. Real quick.
Sure.
That's 18 seconds.
Yes. All right, so I have some honorable mentions of games that I didn't finish, but in the time I got to play them, left such an impression on me that I still wanted to shout them out because I think they're awesome, and I think you should give them a look if you have time. All right. Outer Worlds, Disco Elysium, Outer Wilds, and especially Ace Combat 7. Is that 8
Nice.
seconds?
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so here's the top 10 of games that I finished in 2019. Number 10, it feels good that it is on the list, Bloodstained.
Yes.
I am a huge Castlevania fan. I pretty much use any excuse that I can to play Castlevania. I feel like that Rondo of Blood Don't Skip was evidence of that. And so Bloodstained felt like the master returning in a way. It was just like exactly what it needed to be. And it was the kind of game where I felt like it tickled my pleasure sensors in such a way that once I started playing, I couldn't stop. I just kind of got sucked into it. And it was fun coming into the office and talking to people about it and different strategies and things that we were doing and secrets that we had found. It had all of that. Great soundtrack, great fights, great everything. It was exactly what I wanted to be after Konami shit on my dreams. All right, number 9 also feels good that it's on the list is Judgment. We've said this multiple times, but it is hard making characters that have the presence of a lot of the Yakuza cast, particularly Kiryu and Majima, and Judgment super does that. It is familiar but different. It manages to make a strong case for itself. It doesn't feel redundant. It feels like you're kind of falling in love with the Yakuza style all over again, while it also adds meaningful new additions that actually make you feel like a detective. It tells a pretty good, nuanced story that feels like it evolves in natural ways. And that story does justice to its excellent characters and really gives them time to shine. Along those same lines, Metro Exodus. This is a game that
Nice.
too many people are sleeping on. Metro Exodus is awesome. I think there are a few games this year that suck you into a world like Metro Exodus. The environments that you're in are really the star of the show. Like, there were times I felt genuinely afraid and unnerved, but what I think is so cool about Metro Exodus is it goes outside the bounds of normal Metro stuff, and is able to create the tension that you feel in those dark tunnels in much more open environments as well. And it's really fantastic, and I think more people should play it. Number 7, a game I was expecting to not care about at all, and reignited my love of Star Wars in a way that I haven't felt since I was a kid. I haven't loved Star Wars this much since I was a kid, and that is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I really liked the approach that they took to the storytelling. It felt like it honored Star Wars without relying on it. I think that it was a great game in its own right. It had boss battles that were exciting and tense and also very different from each other. The environments that you explored were a treat, like bouncing on those pods in Kashyyyk was so much fun. It was fun, like, exploring and finding secrets, and it was just Respawn proves that they are truly a super talented studio that is capable of many great things. not just Titanfall. Fucking feel-good hit of the summer, Luigi's Mansion 3. I think too many people look at Luigi's Mansion 3 and be like, oh, I get it, and then they move on.
Send it to Nintendo.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is genius. It is masterful level design.
Yeah.
It understands what you want to do as a player. If you are somebody that just loves getting a game and poking at it and seeing what you can do, Luigi's Mansion 3 was made by those kind of crazy people, and they let you just have fun in that world. It looks gorgeous. It's one of the best looking Switch games, and I feel like outside of a couple of exceptions, the floors all last like a really good, succinct amount of time. They have an idea, they capitalize on that idea, and they get out. None of this filler open world Ubisoft bullshit. It's a masterclass. Good stuff. Number 5, back-to-back Switch games, Fire Emblem Three Houses. This was one that was hard not putting higher. I think in terms of characters, easily some of my favorite characters of the year, and I think that's especially hard in a series that is known for having great characters that you get easily attached to. I really felt like my choices mattered in a way. Like I chose the Black Eagles in Three Houses, and I think a lot of people chose, the Blue Lions or the Golden Deer, and the game does such a good job with all of them that you really feel ownership over that decision. You really get attached to that crew. And I think the school setting is a more natural way to get to know them rather than just picking support conversations from the menu. Like actually going up and talking to them adds so much. It makes it feel more lived in. It makes it feel more like a world. Yeah, very, very good. Great Fire Emblem game. Number 4, also surprised this isn't higher, but tough choices here. Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Ooh. Monster Hunter World, easily my game of the year last year. Iceborne is a great expansion. It adds so much. We talked about it in the Game of the Year video, but the things that it adds make it more fun to play in general and make it more fun to play with other people. I think there are little things that add a lot. I think the Clutch Claw is a very smart new tool. Celiana as a base is so good that I never want to go back to Astera. I just want to be in Celiana all the time. And I think just in general, like the arc of the monsters that you fight in Iceborne is better and more enjoyable than it is in Vanilla World. So it really met my expectations, and I'm happy about that. These next two I flipped back and forth a lot in my mind. They're both really special to me, and I think really special to a lot of people in this room, at least this next one. That is Resident Evil 2 Remake. I know we have a lot of Resident Evil fans at Easy Allies, but I don't think I've been... Like, I love Resident Evil, but something about Resident Evil 2 to me was like, I want more of this immediately. It felt like it modernized Resident Evil while also capturing the essence of the old in such a perfect way. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was both tense and exciting while also having some of that cheesiness. Like, it was like the people that made it, I could sense their reverence and their passion for a series that has been part of my life since I was like a super young child, looking at the Resident Evil strategy guide and getting freaked out by the tarantulas in it and like awkwardly putting it back on the library shelf. Like, Resident Evil 2 Remake is just a labor of love in the best way, and every time I think about it, I just feel a strong urge to play more of it. But my number one most anticipated game of the year was Devil May Cry 5, and boy, did it deliver. That combat system is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, combat system in any action game ever. I really think that it is the kind of game you don't get to see very much anymore with action games. I feel like a lot of action games are afraid of losing the player, and Devil May Cry 5 is not. To really get the most out of it, you have to work for it, and you have to be curious, and you have to want to practice, and you have to get better. And it rewards you by making you feel so good, particularly as Dante. I think when you play as Dante, those are some of my favorite moments in the game, and switching between those styles. And it has my favorite boss fight of the year. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but that final boss fight, like, it made me feel kiddie again. I adored it. Number 1, though, Sekiro. Boy. This is what I want video games to be in a lot of ways. It's kind of the ultimate video game for me in the sense that the way they're talking about Doom Eternal right now is they're like, we want you to play a certain way, and we're going to teach you, and we're going to make that feel awesome. And sometimes what I think is frustrating about games is they give you a bunch of options, and there's no really reward for playing like the most fun way. Like, there's a lot of difference between most fun and most efficient. And I think Sekiro, unlike other games, other Souls-like games, really finds that way to make the most efficient way also be the most fun way. And you can't really there are so many fights where you can't look away, you can't cheese it, you have to get in their face, and you have to learn, and you have to be incredibly dexterous. And if that was it, if it was just the fighting, that would be one thing. It would probably be behind Devil May Cry 5. But the fact that the world is just as strong as the combat, and the fact that you have these incredible fights in this world that is so realized and multi-layered and so much fun to explore, where each area is so distinct and you can immediately bring it to mind, is remarkable. It's a complete package, and that's it.
I misheard you when you said Devil May Cry because I thought you said it was your number one, and then I was like, wait, where was Sekiro?
Sekiro's number one
on your list at all.
Coming up next. Ooh, Don Casanova is talking to read off his.
Yeah, Don has some actually.
Don's got some.
Yeah.
Don.
Da-dun!
Don. 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 Hello.
What's up, Don?
What's up, Don? Hello, everybody.
Goonies?
Yeah.
You didn't even know the reference you were making. It
No,
just like came out.
that tune's
So
just
Don,
in
so you
there.
know, we're randomly drawing names. So like this is
Okay.
your natural spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
good.
like, what
good,
is
good.
that? I know that song.
So, as you know, I didn't participate in the voting. However, I'm here to highlight 10 moments or companies or games in the retro world that treated us so well this last year. Last couple years have been quite good for retro releases, but this year they kept it going. So in no particular order, I'm going to ramble off top 10.
I'll order them for you after this.
Okay. Where
nice
should I
if you
start
caught.
with that one?
That's a good number one.
Number one, like the best? Or
Yeah. So
Okay.
go back to the bottom. Yeah, start with that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
All right, this might have been the opposite of how I would have done it. Pinball FX3 Pinball Simulator, which we all know about. Zen Studios doing such a nice job with this game. Year after year releasing more tables. Well, this year was really special because they anybody that doesn't know about Pinball FX3, they create their own tables with licensed brands, Alien, Star Wars, all kinds of stuff. But in the past couple of years, they started doing real tables. They got licenses from Williams and Bally, so they've been re-releasing some of the licensed tables that Pinball Arcade lost. So this year we got Theater of Magic, Universal Monster Bash, Creature from the Black Lagoon. These are really cool because Pinball FX3, they add in their own like visual flair and animations and things that obviously couldn't exist in a mechanical pinball replication. But so they give you the option of, they add on those FX for these real world tables, but you can also, if you choose to, play just
Classic.
museum mode. Yeah, and
Like
they've got
it.
they add in a lot of the stuff with that collectors and retro players appreciate, like old advertising campaign, marketing supplemental materials, and artwork from the game. You can explore the tables with a 3D camera and all kinds of stuff like that. All right, moving
Can I
on.
drop down into the table?
Yeah.
Cool.
The camera, move all around.
Are they
That's
ever
really
going to get
cool.
Adam's Family? Do you think?
I think they will, because that was one of the licensed ones that Pinball Arcade had.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Because that table is great.
Probably come down the pipes. Yeah, that
Thanks,
one's good.
Raul.
And so expensive in the real world. And this is not, a lot of pinball players would scoff at this pinball simulators, but they're really nice. They're important because a lot of people don't ever have access to these kind of games and never will. So it's nice that they're still going strong in 2019. All right, moving up the list. This was a big thing. Turok 1 and 2 came out this year, okay? These re-releases for...
We were just talking about
on
this.
everything, yeah. Just fabulous moment. You know, these games to go back to, it's so easy to take so much for granted in like a 3D shooter, a 3D open world, whatever it is, and to go back to these points when it was very crude and simple, and the tiniest little interactions, you know, being able to shoot a tree and have it fall down, just all the little things in Turok. Not to mention that these particular versions, who is it? Night Dive Studios is the ones that re-released this, and they've got it running on a better engine, so they cleared up the draw distance, everything. It's the game that you wanted to play back in the day, and, you know, playing at its maximum that you'd hope to play it at, you know, so just crisp and clean and fun. And it's amazing how well it holds up, and it's fun to be able to play on the dual sticks also, you know. Turok 1 and 2, they're out. This is one that flew over a lot of people's heads, I think. Didn't know. Jones, did you know Disney Classic Games re-released Aladdin and the Lion King as a combo pack? Did we play that?
No.
I was a little scorched that they didn't do the Super Nintendo version, just Genesis for Aladdin.
Yeah, that was controversial.
You know, it's fine.
However,
that's the true version.
Yeah, most people consider the Genesis version to be the Super Nintendo one.
Genesis,
yeah.
Did we hear about that while we were doing like Human Fall Flat stream?
Yeah, something.
Do you remember? Because I have this weird image in my head of hearing about that while like being in a building and then like, wait, that was when we were playing that game. But it's weird because it's like we were having that conversation to almost to the point where like almost made my brain feel like that was a real place. But like, no, I was throwing couches out windows. That was not a real place.
I remember that.
It was on his to-do list.
Oh. Those games were great, Aladdin and Lion King, and this is really neat because they include several different versions of the games, including, I thought this was really cool, they have a Final Cut version of Aladdin included in there, which is basically our equivalent of a day one patch. You know,
okay.
The game could never be patched back then, so there's several bugs and problems which they actually corrected.
Interesting.
In game, so
I mean, they would re-release copies, but yeah, it depends on the game whether they got enough sales for reorders.
So that one is neat to be able to play like that, and they include a lot of extra, you know, concept art, music, all the videos. That's what's really neat about last year and this year. These retro releases are really making an effort, I think, to include the supplemental materials that are really fun to like check out while you're playing these games. Konami, company everyone loves to hate, they celebrated their 50th anniversary this last year, and they did okay because they released their arcade classics, their Castlevania Classic Collection, and their Contra. That was all three of those.
Yeah, but it's the PSP version, not the PS1 version.
Of which?
Castlevania.
Oh,
so like the
of
yeah, it was a little different. So.
Of the,
just a little different vibe.
It was great.
Yeah, it's great. I'm just saying.
Night or which one?
You're not allowed to refute somebody's top 10 picks.
No, you were questioning it. I was just giving you additional information.
You said but. You started with but.
It's point well taken.
But it had that Kid
I
Dracula.
meant nothing but.
trash
I was just
John's
giving additional info.
Don't you trash his picks.
I'm not trashing it.
Tipping the scales back in favor,
I'm
right
not
in the other
trashing
direction. Kid Dracula.
Throw 'em out there.
They've got a Grady's collection as well, right? Don?
What's that?
They have a Grady's collection as well, right?
Yeah.
I gotta get that.
There is a Grady's collection.
I'm pretty sure there is a Grady's
collection. But I don't think it was in their same anniversary series.
Okay.
The Genesis Mini, that came out last year.
Yeah,
It turned out to be really
cool.
great. You know,
I was always Demon's Crest?
Yeah, Demon's Crest.
That was Super Nintendo.
That's on the Super NES Online thing,
yeah. Never mind.
M2 emulated all these games on there, which they did a fabulous job because they had a busy year. But you know, it was so fun. We played it a little bit, but then you know, I got to play it over the Christmas break, and I had friends when I was a little kid, and they had Genesis. I was at Super Nintendo. So I got to play it a lot, but there's nothing like being able to wake up first thing in the morning, right, and play Sega Genesis for like 4 hours, eat some cereal. You know, I never got to
Don, let's do
experience
that
as a
now.
kid.
What's the next game on there?
So-
For sure do that.
Well, I had a lot of fun with Altered Beast, which was like, you know, a game everyone knows about, but I had realized I had never gotten past, I don't think, the second level or something, so it was neat to go back and play it.
Cool.
And it holds up really well. Shinobi 3 was really great.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Strike Force 3 I had a lot of fun with, which I had never played, so there's quite a few games on there I had a lot of fun with. And M2 released a bunch of games on the Switch. You know, they've done such a loving job with 3DS, say a lot of Sega ports in the past. This year they helped Konami, but they also, one game that many people missed was Virtua Racing. They re-released Virtual Racing, and this is one of those games that was just really pivotal. It's one of those historical games that's nice to go back because it kind of holds up to this day really well, especially out of those games that were on the frontier of, polygonal graphics and especially a racing game. I think it was one of the very first, and it still holds up. It just looks crisp and clean, and there's no textures, but there's a grand scale. You feel the really large scale of everything.
Well, slightly related, you guys who also played the Stunt Race FX.
Right,
But
there's an example of one that it doesn't hold up. So you play it and it just feels so dated.
Yeah, so
whereas this you can
early.
play today and it feels wonderful. I was researching it, so an interesting thing is because one of the things they did was they up to so you could play. It runs on 60 frames per second now and everything, and when the game was first released, it was super popular apparently, and they released like a year later. An 8-player, like you'd sit in replica F1 racers, and they're all hydraulically controlled, and you could do 8-player head-to-head with the game, and they have like 50-inch, screens. And so now, though, it's like we have the opportunity to play this game again in your living room. Most of us have bigger than 50-inch screens or something, and it's just really neat to be able to time travel in that way. At least for me, it is. I don't know. I enjoyed it. M2, they've had a fabulous year. With the Sega Ages series, Ben, right?
Yep.
This year alone, Outrun, Space Harrier, and Virtual Racing. Not to mention, possibly Saturn and Dreamcast coming. I sent you an article. We'll check the sources.
Did you send me that article?
I sent you the article. In my research, I came across.
And you only sent it to Ben?
I sent it to Ben to legitimize it.
Yeah, what the hell?
We'll see.
Well, did you validate it? What's going on?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I haven't had an opportunity to look
hasn't
at
had an
it.
How did you send it?
We'll see on Slack.
Via a handwritten note.
I mailed
Pigeons
it.
are
I
on
ran
their way.
downstairs to the corner and dropped it in the
It
box.
just says M2, Saturn, and Dreamcast. Ben's like, what is this? Who sent this?
It's done like magazine cutout
Yeah.
letters. They just did Shinobi and Fantasy Zone Sega Ages as well.
Yeah.
They do
Fantasy
a
Zone.
masterful job on the Sega Ages one.
Yeah.
So still going strong. Anything else worth mentioning here? Real quick, Johnny Turbo's Arcade, okay? This is company Flying Tiger Entertainment. They continue to release data esports. These are just a lot of really rare arcade games, and it's nice to have arcade-perfect versions of them available on Switch. And then last but not least, I'll just mention the Capcom Home Arcade Stick. I think this is a fun experiment.
Number one, baby.
This is a fun experiment.
Yeah.
Don, how much
In the
was
mini
it?
console says, I haven't done the I haven't done all the math. It's pricey. Who can put a price, Ben, when you're sitting next to your friend?
I'm asking because I want it.
Both
That's
got-
why I'm asking.
There's
no price on memory.
I can
The
put a
big
price on
surprise,
that. I
the big
can price
surprise
that.
on that, Don, was the Puzzle Fighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not only did it like make me remember Puzzle Fighter, but also when I went home and I'm like, oh, I want to play more of this, and I realized like they haven't re-released this
Yeah.
since the 360 and PS3 release.
Yeah.
And I bought that 360 release, and I'm like, oh, like what they did to like up-res it for HD like doesn't look good anymore. I'm like, I'd rather play your version by far.
Darkstalkers on there. It's
Alien
just
vs. Predator is
beautiful.
the big one.
Alien vs.
Yeah.
Predator.
That game was gone
legit.
forever.
Please
yeah.
bring that back for
I
Hall of
missed
Break.
that stream, dude.
It was great.
I'm sure.
That game
Captain
is
Commando.
awesome.
Captain.
That's like one stream I definitely would want to miss.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning any modern. I'm only mentioning retro releases on my top 10.
Captain
And
Commando.
yeah, so that was about it, right? That's is that it?
Yeah, it's
I
good.
don't know.
No, that was awesome.
You're looking at it.
Wait, what's the ranking? What's the ranking?
That was the ranking.
That was the ranking.
Okay,
It was
okay.
I
descending.
love
Got it,
that.
got
I
it.
love
Yeah.
that.
I love that you did that.
Capcom Stick definitely number one for sure.
Me.
Jones, I got to remark on an awkward thing.
Okay.
Is that when somebody was sitting here, we'd both thoughtfully be looking at them, but then sort of, we'd be like making thoughtful eye contact with each other, and it made me uncomfortable.
Are you guys flirting?
Yes. And
Also,
so like I'd have to
You're
like
just very
start
dark and
looking at, like,
mysterious tonight, Kyle. You gotta.
Can't you two see?
You have a very like Skyrim
you're in
kind of
love
like
with
the
each other?
Skyrim.
Yeah.
it's the
Was
Also,
the like
it's
cross
Shadow
stitches.
Brotherhood?
Kyle
or-
knows that his
Dark
phone
Dark
is on
Brother.
the chair.
against
Right.
yeah,
Chad has been so stressed out about Cal's phone on the floor.
Yeah, Kyle knows his phone is on the floor.
Kyle, your phone's on the floor.
Kyle, your phone's on the floor.
I didn't bring my phone today.
Oh.
Yeah, he knows it's a
I
multi.
think he's flirting with Chad.
Are you flirting with Zach?
I wanted to stick to only games that I finished, and I barely made 10. I have 5 games I finished and didn't make the 10, and they definitely don't make the 10. It's pretty far between my number 10 and the 5 that didn't. My 10 are good. There's 5 other games I finished this year that are not good.
So
my number
is this
10,
8 seconds? Okay, sorry.
just sneaking in, Greedfall, which I just finished, got to ending credits.
10.
Number 10.
Okay.
Greedfall's on your top 10?
Yeah, of the games I finished. I didn't
yeah.
finish a lot of games. So yeah, Death Stranding will not be on this list. Sekiro will not be on this list. Outer Wilds, Outer World. Like, I didn't finish any of those games.
I think you're making rules you didn't need to make, but okay.
But well, I wanted to talk about things we didn't talk about during deliberations
Sure.
and during Goaties.
That's cool.
Greedfall's fun. If you are like craving Dragon Age, go play. I think you would enjoy Greedfall. I just there's a lot of running back and forth. There's a lot of go talk to this guy, go talk to this guy, go talk to this guy. And the worlds cut a lot of corners in a way that you get to the second area and you're like, oh, this is a totally different style. And you go to like the mayor's house and it's like the same staircase, go up to the side door, walk around to the side throne room. That's like the town you came from. You're like, oh, okay. I guess
Didn't
you don't. I guess it
Dragon
doesn't
Age
really
2
need
have a
to
lot
be
of that?
different for me. I didn't play Inquisition. I don't remember having a lot of that.
Okay, I thought 2 was the one that had a lot of repeated stuff.
Don't recall. But combat very fun. Really great skill trees. Excited to talk about the skill trees on Frame Trap. A lot of tough decisions of like, do I want lockpick? No, I don't. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, you would have to walk by things or see dialogue options that you're like, yeah, I'll miss all that stuff in this game because this other stuff is too much fun.
Is there a skill you usually always go in RPGs like that, Jones?
I was surprised. Vigor was one I didn't do. It's like climbing up stuff and walking across thin areas to get to secrets. I was like, meh. I'm gonna go more lockpicking, like buff up my teammates more. Number 9, Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Hey.
Boy, that was just everything I wanted it to be. That's all, you know. I'm excited where this goes. I'm excited to, hopefully they make another one. Hopefully it comes out of next gen because like you could fly in this one, but like you see that gross looking horizon come at you real fast. And you're just like, okay, maybe we're ready for a new gen with Dragon Quest Builders. Maybe when you really get, blow this world up, the detail doesn't necessarily go with it, which is why it's not higher on the list. But I was totally satisfied. If they made, 10 more Dragon Quest Builders games like this, I would, buy and play them all. Number 8, Pokemon Shield. You'll be happy with the game that beat Pokemon Shield. But it's only my third. I mean, I've finished it now, so I'm about to finish my fourth. But only really my third, like, full-on Pokemon adventure. And just love the open worlds. Just the story got dumber as it went on. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then, like, I can't say there's anything really happened in the last half of that game. Though. It's like, get out of here! But that world's really fun. It was neat to be... It's like the classic if it's 20 years since a TV show came out, but you've never seen it. It's like, I'd be like, this Pokemon's sweet, Kyle. And you're like, yeah, it came out 8 years ago. And I'm like, awesome. But I loved catching them, and that was a lot of fun. Probably the last Pokemon game I'll really play like that, where I'll just have so much new, so much cool, exciting things that happen. But yeah, it was very fun. Number 7, egregiously snubbed during our deliberations. You'll have to watch them to find out why. Oh. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. I want to say one thing that's really great about Ultimate Alliance 3. I love that Ultimate Alliance 3 comes out specifically with the Black Order, who are not called that in the last two, Avengers game. They're in Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. And it was cool going into this game, and they're like, this is what they look like in the comics. So I was like, well, that's a new character. And then I'm like, oh, it's not. That's the woman with the staff. But that's cool that's actually what she looks like in the comic. Just kind of this interesting restructuring of like all of the people that worked around Thanos. And to me, it's like the perfect thing as far as like what I want to ask for, where like I think it'll have more characters than Avengers, but Avengers obviously has a more realistic style, but like that's not really winning everybody over. And then you have something like Marvel Heroes, which is much more like microtransaction heavy. This was just kind of right in the middle of like just enough action, just enough story with the right amount of characters. A lot of those updates were free, and a lot of the stuff they added a lot of stuff after the fact. And I know it was totally set up to be stupid and grindy, but like I'm not ashamed. I was like, yes, I'm playing. Like that whole crystal system. I was like, I need 4 of these crystals to make 2 of these. Okay, I'll just grind this 10 more times, and then I'll have it. Like I don't know what would. Yeah. And it was right after Milo too, so it was just like he was there, he'd be napping, I'd be in the corner with the switch, just like yep, just Cyclops just blowing everybody up.
Who do you like more, Milo or Marvel?
It'll grow. See, it's like I see a chart in my mind where Marvel is the lead now, but Milo's catching up, and then he'll eventually, completely surpass. Yeah. But he's not really crawling yet, so it just kind of, it's a tough list. How dare you? Number 6, Days Gone. I cannot wait for Days Gone 2. I'm stoked for Days Gone 2. I think they made just enough money. I think they got just enough clout. I think they learned to not stretch that game or stretch that story, that world that they built farther than they needed to. Gosh, I loved playing it, and even with all of the little like weird, it had a lot of like glitches, but nothing that like I got stuck by, stuff that just made the world like kind of bleh. And so it was like I see how Witcher 1 evolved to 2 to 3. You know, I see how you know, excluding things like Sleeping Dogs or Watch Dogs, like these really interesting story, specifically the Apocalypse. Like I'd never played an apocalyptic game like that. That's kind of like what I wanted Dead Rising 3 to be. Like when I saw the first time Dead Rising 3 was in a car, I was like, yes, let's do this. And I remember just the very first time we saw it, and I was like, wait, so like there's a lot of them, and they run real fast, and he's on a bike. I'm kind of sold on this. And like, you know, it was a roller coaster ride with all the trailers and going through that story and everything. But I still, even at the end credits, I still was like, it's just fun. Every time I would just get back on that thing and just ride out. It's fun.
The bike controls are good.
Yeah, it's got a nice slide to it. I mean, the frame rate just is, you know, is not fantastic. And just kind of pops up in like the worst places. I don't know if they have then, you know, if that's something that they fixed now, but I was playing on a pro. Number 5, Division 2 was so much fun when it launched, man. And again, these are the games I finished. Like Division 2, I got end credits. I got all the way to the end. I even did like the next thing that opens up. And Division 2 is one of the first games I played like that. I haven't played Destiny 2, but I played Destiny 1. I played Anthem. And it was one of the first games I played where like anytime I jumped in somewhere, it was kind of like you were saying with COD, but it wasn't as like exciting as COD when I would play new modes. But anytime I was like, I'm going to play by myself. I'm going to play with Huber. I'm going to play with people from a guild that I've never met before. I'm going to play with something that I know I got to queue with a certain type of person to do a certain type of mission. They were all fun. Like that, I never encountered some way that they were like, oh, you want to do A, follow route B. Route B was always accessible and great and quick, and there were people ready. You know, like whenever I queued up for something, somebody was there like immediately. The pop-up of the textures in that game is rough. And there's only so many times you can ask me to go back to a museum. But they did have like I don't know, it's just one thing like when Anthem's like, this cave of mystery, and this other thing's like, it's the building. You know, it's like, what do you want to see? It's Washington, D.C. Well, how sexy can we really make this? But somebody else got in there. It's a totally different crew. They have different, you know, tools that they're going to use, different weapons, different voiceover. Like, you're going to have to go in there and clean them out. So it was fun. It was like one of those jobs that, like, one of those games that presented a job you could do even in the apocalypse. So it's like, this would be fun. I actually wouldn't mind doing this. I'd be proud to help all these people. Right with Ben at number 4, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, man. On top of everything that we've already said about Fallen Order made me, I think, is in my brain one of those stories that helped really define what the dark side means. And that was really cool. I was not expecting that. Of just new characters that I didn't know coming in and sharing their experience about how they learned the Force, how they developed that skill, how they dealt with Order 66, how they dealt with having a Padawan, having a master, and how they were tempted by the dark side, and then what they did to not be tempted by the dark side. Yeah, it had like tinges of alcoholism. It was really fascinating. It was a very interesting, really interesting character portrayals in that. Sadly, none of those were Cal, but and just a, you know, technically hiccupy game, but at the same time completely gorgeous, and the vistas were amazing, and just so much fun going through those worlds. And that was one that like I definitely was like, I just gotta stop playing this. Did I just delete? Where did it go? Where'd my list go? Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I think I remember my 3.
It is top 3. You can do top 3.
I think I just listed them. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, number 3 is
It's Kingdom Hearts all over again.
well, number 2 is
What edited it?
What did be? I think number 3 is Resident Evil 2. Number 1 is number 3 is Resident Evil 2. I mean, you know this. You know what my 3 are. Number 3 is Resident Evil 2.
They know.
I just tonally, I guess I kind of know what to expect going into the Resident Evil 3, where after all this time I was really into the Bakers, man. Like I finished RE7, even parts of RE4 I finished was like, whoa, that was heavy, and like nothing in RE2 was heavy for me. And that was the only thing that was like, oh, bummer. Going back to the story, I would have liked to have those moments. Like when Leon like steps out the gas station, I was like, here we go. And then at the end, I was like, that was fun, but it didn't really rock me the way like Lisa did in the one remake, or you know the Bakers kind of like understanding really what happened to that family and a lot of those spooks from 7. 2 is Sekiro, even though it completely destroyed me, even though I probably killed it from my list because I didn't finish it. Maybe I still kept it on my list.
Apparently,
I don't
if
know.
you shake your phone, something will happen. Everyone's telling you
If I
to
shake my phone.
phone.
It should be. Oh wait.
Shake it.
Shake it.
Day created. Wait, here we go.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Shake it.
Sort by.
Shake it.
Lend me
Title,
some
date, edited?
sugar. I am your neighbor.
Yeah, totally gone.
Yeah.
But I do.
Shake it.
Shake
I guess
it like
shake
it's a
it.
Polaroid
Shake it is
picture.
on
Keep shaking it.
Like this.
Shake it, shake it.
Damn.
It seems insane.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Shake
no more
it,
heroes.
darling.
Default
Shake
date
it.
edited. Yeah. You'd think. No.
Show me your
Um,
jiggling rump. Shake
Uh,
it.
My number one, as I talked about.
Wait, what was
during
number 2? Number 3 was Resident Evil.
I think it's Sekiro, but I didn't finish Sekiro. I don't know what would be number 2. Oh well.
Probably
Um,
Anthem.
Probably Anthem.
Probably.
No, it's definitely not Anthem. Anthem's on my short list. I already took
Does
2
anybody
seconds out of that
check?
8 seconds.
Jones, if you think of it during mine, you can.
I appreciate that, Huber.
Oh.
I'm still talking about a lot
Don't
of
you
games.
make Pete
You have
during
8
mine.
seconds.
My number one is Control. I think with every game that we talked about during Goaties, like there was always something, and it was weird because every time it would come up for like character or narrative or world design, I was always like, you know, like I never like was like, no, Control. Like I was like, yeah, you know, with these other nominees, like I get it, and there were parts of the map that were frustrating performance-wise. Like there were definitely parts of that game that struggled. I never wondered why. I never saw a part of Control, and I was like, why is this not running flawlessly? It's like because there's 5 couches and 8 lamps and every piece of paper on that thing, and like all of it's flying around the same room. But there were moments that absolutely made my skin stand straight up in that game, either because they were tense or because I was like, what the hell is going on in this motel? What the hell is going on in this hallway? Just like remind me a little bit of PT with just like in your ears like all the time. It's just such an interesting, muted, disturbing kind of Ring-esque funk to that whole game that as a horror fan I really, really enjoyed seeing how that's done in action. Especially after being like, Alan Wake was fun and Quantum Break looks cool, but like I really feel they knocked it out of the park with this. I'm really excited to see if they do something more. I'm excited for the DLC. Yeah, I just consistently, every time I went back to Control to play more, I absolutely was addicted to it. I was like, I have to experience more of this game, and I was always satisfied. Where a lot of the stuff with the other games, I would either get frustrated or would be like, I don't really know if I have the time to finish like Outer Worlds or Death Stranding. But Control is like, I absolutely have to finish this. There's no question. And there's another game that we'll never know. Number 2 on that list.
I think it was Sekiro.
Lost to time. But damn, if RE2 wasn't better than I thought it was going to be, man. Like that, just in terms of production values. They did a good job with Resident Evil 2.
It's so funny.
It was not
Was it a
wrapped up
VR
great.
game,
Oh wait,
Jones?
and then wait.
Was it a
Oh.
VR game?
It was not a VR game because my 2 VR games that I like, 8 seconds, were Breakpoint I played way too much of, and Blood and Truth and the Groundhog Day game, and I played a lot of Anthem. I played a lot of it. You go look at my
All right.
totals. A lot of Anthem time.
It's funny to me every time someone describes Control as a horror game, because I felt so like comfortable there playing it.
That's Huber. He's cozy.
It's like
Yeah,
moving cozy
I was like
and
cozy,
Evil
yeah.
Within and stuff.
Me and Jesse were like, we belong here. Who's next, Brandon?
Oh yeah. We'll look for that thing. Brad Ellis, who's got the list.
I've got it.
Boom.
Brad not
Who's
feeling
got
well.
The list?
I've got the bread list.
But I did not shoot the devil.
All right. Brad's shoutouts.
8 seconds.
Oninaki, Gears 5, Ghost Giant, Katana Zero, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Nice.
His number 10, Days Gone. Beautiful open world, you get to cruise around on your bike. Zombie Hordes is awesome, and Deacon is rad.
Decan.
Also Booze Man.
Booze Man. Shout out to Booze Man.
He's not here, but I can hear it in my mind.
Number 9, Devil May Cry 5. Combat is insane. Feels good to be Uncle Dante again. Number 8,
GG, Brad.
Judgment. Yakuza, where you get to solve crimes. Also, Kaito. Number 7, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Igarashi gave me a spiritual successor to Castlevania, and it's wonderful. I miss Castlevania. Number 6, Death Stranding. Super weird game about connecting America. Love it. Number 5, Final Fantasy XIV, Shadowbringers. Engaging story, really great fights, and top-tier music. One of the best Final Fantasies in years. Number 4, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Exploration is really engaging, solid combat, and a likable cast. One of the best Star Wars games in a long time. Number 3, Kingdom Hearts 3. The culmination of a story that had been built up for me since 2002, and it lived up to the hype for me. Excited to see where the series goes next. Also, Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Number 2, Resident Evil 2 Remake. An excellent remake that stands side by side with the original. Best zombies of all time, and Mr. X legit terrifies me. And then number 1, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Some of the most heart-pounding moments I've ever had in a game. Combat is super satisfying and unique. The prosthetic arm adds a lot of depth to encounters. Stealth killing enemies always feels good. Some of the best boss fights of all time. That's Brad.
Good stuff, Brad.
Brad. Feel better,
Good
Brad.
stuff.
Feel better, Brad.
Feel better.
Get
Take my
healthy,
energy,
dude.
Brad.
Get healthy.
Michael Huber.
Boom.
Yeah, I did. It was Sekiro. Was my number 2.
Nice.
You
And
cheated.
Wait,
Cat
would
Quest
you take
2.
your phone more? What happened?
I just found it. I deleted it for some
Should I
reason.
come up or
I guess I
stay?
swiped and
Do we
deleted it.
come
while
You
I
gotta
was
come up.
looking.
You gotta come
Yeah,
up.
get up here.
Okay.
But,
Get that blanket
Coming
up.
around, coming around.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
the
Cat
blanket,
Quest
man? It's a Michael Huber mainstay now.
I like blankets.
Blood, I want to get you a blanket.
Blood
Okay.
needs a blanket.
Yeah.
like
Blood
it.
needs a
Right.
blanket
Yeah,
and a
it's
poncho
cold
in a
in here.
bathroom. And a
I'm always
hat.
cold.
What?
You
You're
look
cold
chilly,
all
Blood.
the time.
It's so hot right now.
It's so
It's
hot in
actually
here.
not cold
I'm,
right now, not at
I'm
all.
dying. That's because
Like,
it's so hot in
It's like
here.
a sauna.
It's fine.
Gotta get my.
I mean, my fingers are warm, so you
I'm
know
not
it's not
touching
cold.
those warm
I
fingers.
mean, my fingers are warm.
If his
What's-
fingers are warm, you know it's too hot in here.
What's fingers, though?
That's true.
All right. Shout outs.
Okay, 8
When did-
seconds. Here we
Okay.
go.
Shout out to Disco Elysium, Outer Worlds, River City Girls, Onimusha Warlords, and everything else I didn't get to play, like Fire Emblem Three Houses. And that was probably 8 seconds.
That's
There was
8
another
seconds.
big
No,
one in
think
there.
of it. Think of it.
It was something
This doesn't
big.
count.
Something I didn't play that I need. Metro Exodus. That
Nice.
was it.
Okay.
See, I mean, I'm always forgetting it. I'm always forgetting it. You know,
Shout out.
Just
Yeah.
slips through.
I'm always forgetting it.
You did good, Huber.
All right. Number 10, Kingdom Hearts 3. Sora is Bonds incarnate. It's just Bonds the game. So sometimes I don't always understand Kingdom Hearts 3, but like it's always about love and family and good vibes and good versus evil. And I love it.
The more you play, the less you understand. Remember?
That's my favorite quote
Yeah.
ever. Ben Moore was like, "Yeah, the more games you play, the less you know, the less you understand." Number 9, A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Nice.
Wow.
This game again, obviously, Bonds is there's a bond in there of the sister and the brother, obviously, but like just visually and the kind of game it is, and being able to make such a beautiful game and such a unique game with obviously not the most budget, you know, it's not like the biggest studio of all time.
But it's actually really well done
Yeah.
for the budget that they have.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a little bit like Hellblade like that.
Exactly, yeah. So just like that, it like that place for a game, you know, that it's just, oh, it was amazing. It's so one of a kind, and I just kept thinking about it all year. Next up, number 8, snuck in at the end. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown.
Yeah.
Whoa.
This game, I have like a passing familiarity with the series. You know, I've like finished maybe one, but played a couple. But this one was just so amazing. The music, all the missions. I want to shout out to every single mission in this game being solid. Just stand out. There's like 20 or so missions, and every single one had a really good feel to it, or objective, or change of pace. There's like stealth coming in under the clouds, popping up, taking out turrets, or just crazy dogfights in the air against drones.
Just intense as hell.
Just intense as hell, high stakes, and like a randomly good multiplayer component too, with people just dogfighting crazy style. So, Ace Combat. Number 7, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It just is what it is. I play this all the time with my best good.
Just Huber being Huber, man.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare. Like he's in court. You know what I mean?
Like I'm sorry to
Exhibit
bring
B,
it.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
Yep. Modern Warfare, you know.
Hush goes over the crowd.
I play it consistently with my friends, especially one of my best friends, my friend Grumbaum. And just how every night is different with this game, and how it's so easy to jump in and always so much fun. And it honestly has one of my favorite shotguns, quickly rising in the ranks as one of my favorite shotguns ever in this game. Just up and up and up. Every night I use this thing, I feel good about it. But yeah, just the modes, the 2-on-2s, the cyber attacks where it's about capturing a point or reviving your team. I love cyber attacks so much. That mode, I think, really solidified Modern Warfare for me. And then obviously, you know, breaking up those cyber attack modes with a crazy 24/7 shoot house or shipment, just nonstop kill, respawn, classic Call of Duty. Feels good. Great Call of Duty this year. Number 6, Days Gone. Same thing with Brad, dude. Booze Man hype. Kind of the heart of this game. Love Booze Man. And I'm a sucker for survival and horror. Survival horror. And I really love the main reason I love Days Gone so much is coming up to abandoned outpost, a gas station, a house, whatever it may be, running low on fuel and just picking it clean, scavenging. And the beauty of that is it's so meaningful is because a lot of the time there's the freaker hordes roaming around. So it's super dangerous. And to be able to combat those are late game activities. So it makes the entire game all the way up to the late game when you really earn the strength and the upgrades and stuff that then you can deal with those. Just a great game all the way through. Love Days Gone. Control, number 5. Hollywood blockbuster. Control, that's what it felt like playing. Just a Hollywood blockbuster, a solid pace going through. Awesome mystery, awesome characters. Just the combat especially. Just Remedy at their best with that. The culmination of their combat. Bullet time, you know, moving things, throwing things. God, I'm waiting for that DLC and more of that world, more of Control, please.
I like not knowing what I was grabbing. I like just reaching.
Whatever
and
it
being
is.
like, a chair. Let's do it.
God. Yeah. Number 4, Shenmue 3.
Yes.
Obviously high on the list. Shenmue 3 was everything it needed to be and everything I wanted it to be, given the circumstance of that franchise, of what
Put that on
Shenmue
the
is.
box. Everything it needs to be.
So there.
The DLC just came out, which I'm really excited to go back to. They had like patched the game recently, so they're still kind of massaging it like months later, which is cool. I didn't think they'd continue with supporting it for a while, but I just love Shenmue 3. I love just both towns. I loved the story. The story was awesome, and just another step in that franchise. It just felt so good playing that too. Just that first night. Never forget that first night playing Shenmue 3. It was magical. Whew. Next up, number 3, Life is Strange 2. For obvious reasons, dealt with some very intense things going on in my life. But beyond that, you know I love bonds. This was a game about connecting with family, connecting with lost people, connecting with outcasts, connecting with just anyone, connecting with people that are different than you, and just the journey throughout 2019 is one of the main reasons I want to highlight it as well. You know, we talk about Game of the Year. This was an episodic release. 4 of the 5 episodes came out over the course of the year of 2019, and all year long, all freaking year, in between the releases, like Blood can attest to this, where I'm just like, yo, when is Life is Strange? When is it? Like all the time, just all year long, I was thinking about this game from the heart and the soul, you know, not just about the game itself, but like even more beyond that. Like it touched my life, you know, my soul. So really, really phenomenal game. Number 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. My favorite combat of all time. You know, and I want to bring up something. I'm really happy about this. I want to bring this up, Kyle. We think of one of the greats, Tetris.
Yeah.
Think of Tetris. What do you do in Tetris? Not much. You know, a lot. but not much. Easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
old adage,
Yes.
right? The old
get
saying
it.
goes,
I'm gonna bring up Tetris too. I get this.
easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah.
Simplicity perfected. And that is why I love Sekiro, because yes, you have the prosthetic arm and a little more utility with that and a little varying degree, but first and foremost, it is about your sword and your sword alone, and it is perfect. Nothing felt better in 2019. It's my number 2 game, but nothing felt better than the Makiri counter. It's one of my favorite moves of all time in a video game. I love it. Sekiro.
He's got to look at what number 1 is.
I don't even know why. Yeah, number 1. Resident Evil 2 is number 1. The original is my favorite game of all time. And the remake just they are both now right there. It's like just still one thing to me, the original and the remake. And just the spirit of Resident Evil in this game. I mean, this is everything. Like, the survival, the horror, the atmosphere, the characters, the little bit of cheese, but also, like, the deep, dark, sinister lore behind it all. Just captured the spirit of this decades-old franchise perfectly. And my favorite zombies ever to fight, ever, in the series. So, it's the best. Resident Evil 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. 2019, such a good year. Bloodworth.
Oh, I'm up.
Bloodworth.
I didn't know we were doing the shoutouts, but I do have some things that
You don't have to.
were last crossed off my list.
Nice.
So I can do those for shoutouts.
Awesome.
Shoutouts. Ace Combat 7.
Nice blood.
Hadn't played anything in the series before. Crash Team Racing.
Hey.
Metro Exodus.
Nice.
And Tetris 99.
Good shout-outs.
Shout out.
My number 10. Gotta get some racing representation up in here. Dirt Rally 2.0.
Nice.
This game, Huber, it's terrifying. You get on a dark road in the middle of the night.
Dude.
You've got a wall over here. You've got a cliff over here. You bump a tree, and now one of your headlights is out. And so it's like you're just trying to get through this
I
thing.
love rally racing.
You've got this high stakes stuff where, like, if you get damage on one race, it's going to carry over through the next few races.
Nice.
And then, like, some point between a couple of races, you can do repairs, but that's going to cost you time. So then you have to prioritize which repairs you're going to do.
Can we stream this?
Sure.
Can we stream this with people?
Sure.
Dude, you're number 10?
It's a hard.
Somebody dropped highlights
I wanna
on
stream
Community
this.
Showcase.
I
Somebody
love
had time
rally
trial
racing.
on that
Beating down Brian.
on one of the it was
Yeah.
Brian on one of those night courses, and it was crazy seeing somebody be like, I know it's left, I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
and
it's
just
you've got to
scraping through
really
the entire
learn like
thing.
every bump in the road.
Dude, we got to stream this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
We're gonna make this happen.
it's pretty crazy.
Do you have a co-pilot in it?
Yeah,
Nice.
because there's rally with co-driver and then there's rally cross, which is more like with like pack, like bumping into each other and stuff.
Cool.
Number 9, Life is Strange 2. Went on that journey with Huber. Really appreciate the relationship with Daniel and Sean, and the fact that like so much of the game is about making choices that reverberate into Daniel's character, and it's like you set the example for him, and that affects what choices he's going to make, and so. It's this kind of long-term build-up thing. It's like if you make it seem like it's okay to steal, then Daniel's going to be more likely to do some crazy stuff. So yeah, and then just I really feel like a lot of the characterization with people, like while it's not always perfect, there's a lot in there that like really helps you to get behind what people are thinking and what their perspectives are, and really like kind of put yourself outside of yourself and see where somebody else is coming from. Number 8. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Really, I think I was really surprised by how much I ended up liking this game, because I kind of felt like in a way before release that it was just going to be like more of the same, and in a way it is, but it was just so good that it overcame all of that. I just was really obsessed with just like continuing playing through that game, like getting upgrades, and like even though like You know, or kind of like, I mean, like Jones, you like grinding. You know, like this is a game that's like, this is fun to grind.
The enemies
in,
were so weird.
just because like,
I would just crack. I would laugh out loud at like a new weird enemy that
Right.
came flying in. Like,
but
what
it's
is
just
this?
so
This is
fun mechanically to
Yeah.
play this game that like, it's like, sure, I'll grind and get whatever little doodad you guys want.
Yes.
Get
Num-
those doodads.
Number 7, Luigi's Mansion 3. Again, I think a game that like just went beyond my expectations. Like there's so much care and detail put into that world. There's just secrets within secrets, all of these fun little extra things. The bosses were great. The new levels and themes of different areas were great, and like a lot of those gems that like, even though like sometimes it's hard to like, you get a little frustrated like where could this thing possibly be, a lot of the times when you find it, when you figure out like what that device is that opens up what the gem is, it's like some of the most rewarding little secrets in the game. Number 6, The Outer Worlds. I really dug into this game and really put my skill points into speech and just got obsessed with talking to people. And I also really like the way a lot of the side quests sort of like branch and interact with each other, to where they're like, there are times where like I just felt like I could just work my way through quests like kind of sequentially and like explore while doing quests, and all kind of feel like I'm kind of have this natural progression. And then like a lot of the backstory and stuff that was thought about, like how these locations came to be how they are. Number 5 is Control. You love a lot of the vibes of that game. I love the physical interactions. You know, doing the telekinesis stuff is so cool. And then particularly once you like work levitating into the mix, and like how those things play off of each other in combat, how those things play into exploration and going into things, areas that, you know, are, you know, in some cases kind of optional. So it's pretty cool. Number 4 is The Outer Wilds. Or no, just Outer Wilds. There's no "the" on that one. And yeah, I think as a lot of people have said, it's just really amazing how that game is laid out and structured, and you get these little nuggets of things. Each planet kind of has its own thing going on, and you learn a little bit here and a little bit there. And so you know, I had intended to explore the first planet fully first, and then immediately just something I was exploring sent me off somewhere else. I'm like, okay, let's go check that thing out. And I thought I was done there, and then, you know, 5-10 hours later, I was like, oh, there was something else there that I missed. All right, I guess I'm going back. So
Nice.
it's really cool. Number 3, Resident Evil 2. Probably the most stressed and intense of a game that I've played in a long time. Just really feeling the panic with Tyrant breathing down your neck, particularly in the second run when you don't have as much chance to just stop and breathe. It's like, no, you've got to keep moving in order to solve these puzzles. You've got to keep moving. You've got to keep running away, and just like hearing those footsteps from another room and knowing he's getting closer, he's right outside the door is pretty nuts. Number 2 is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Again, I just really I love how, like, as you get through that game and you just start learning how this stuff works more and more, like even when you like are dying like 10 or 15 times, you sort of feel like, well, this isn't actually that bad compared to the stuff I did before, because it's like you can see what it's doing, and you just gotta like work yourself into like getting all of that right. And I've enjoyed a lot of the world. I've enjoyed a lot of kind of how the story is a little bit more straightforward this time around, and so I can kind of get a better grasp of like what's going on, even though there's still some mystery there. And yeah, the combat overall is just really, really great. And then my number 1 is Death Stranding. got obsessed with this game in a way I didn't expect. Yeah, it's just the physicality of things, a lot of the details that go into small things, like, you know, like just things like squeezing the trigger to like pick up a package, and like that being the way that, like, you're holding it but you're squeezing it, and it's like it's the same motion that you're doing on the controller that you're doing with your hand. And then there's the fact that, like, when they teach you how to throw things, it's like, well, just, you know, swing and then release the trigger. You're like, oh, okay, cool. And just like a lot of the cool gadgets that are basically optional. I really appreciated stuff like that. Stuff later on that, like, I wouldn't have expected, like the sticky gun thing that you could.
Oh, I ignored that thing.
Yeah, I never used that.
Yeah, it was great, particularly like if something was floating down a river or something, and it would be like really a pain in the butt to get you. Like, shoot, and then snatch it out of the air.
Oh, cool.
Felt pretty good. But yeah, so that was the thing that, like, I was kind of thinking like Death Stranding would be like, okay, well, here's a kind of okay game with some cool Kojima sci-fi cutscenes, and my experience turned to the opposite. Like, I just really liked the mechanics of moving through that world, exploring that world, and experimenting with different tools.
Michael Damiani.
Damiani.
Michael Damiani.
Get that blanket on, Damiani.
Get in there, Damiani. Get in there.
Yeah, can we turn that on?
Burning up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's.
Feel free. I won't mind. I got a
I'm like on
the air
fire,
conditioner?
Huber.
Yeah, that means his
I'm always
fingers are
cold,
very
man.
hot.
Oh, yeah.
This has never
Blood's
happened in the
fingers
history of
are on
time.
fire.
weird.
I think I lost some weight.
Damiani, I'm secretly hoping Revengeance is number one.
We're
I
supposed
really-
to just
I
let it
wanted
sit.
to put it.
Stress.
If you could just make that
I
happen.
was gonna put FTL, but no.
You can start, Damiani.
Revengeance 2 win.
That don't.
Sorry.
This is never happening.
Oof. That happens. I will revisit that perfect sword combat of Sekiro debate. Revengeance
That'd be
2.
fun, dude. Side by side.
All right. Shout outs to Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Hopefully you got to play the definitive edition of it with all the cut content.
And
You didn't
that's
get the first
8
time?
seconds.
In the end.
I'm just teasing Damiani.
Ukulele and Crash Team Racing were my other two.
Nice.
Nice.
This is the first three are in order, I guess. The rest are just like there. I didn't really make this in a top 10.
Cool. That's fine.
So, yeah. So, Control. Darling music video. Do I
Yeah.
have to say any more?
Yep.
I saw that and I was like, I beat the game. I got the good ending. Pretty good. Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. Everything Huber said, absolutely true about it, and I agree with it. Also a great game because it showed, the best way in 2019 to tell how you were a true gamer is if you played with standard controls or expert controls, because you didn't play with expert controls, everyone let you know about it. every comment, every comment, every YouTube video was just like, you didn't really play the game. So I guess I didn't really play the game for like 90% of the game. So I guess I can't really put this on my
Wait,
list.
didn't you do a full playthrough later with?
I played like a bunch of the missions as it, and I was like, yeah, this is the better way to play it. But hey, sorry. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Play how you want to play, Damiani. I love you.
I forgive you, Damiani.
Kingdom Hearts 3. Shout out to the Pirates of the Caribbean level. Best part of that game for me.
Brad showed me that. That was awesome.
Love that part of the game.
The sky won't forgive you.
Also, it carries into 2020. Now gets the best award for the best troll ending of all time.
We'll talk about that later.
That'll be next year's Goaties. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's a teaser, like Nomura likes to do. Link's Awakening, 2018, not the original version.
2019.
Nani?
No, 2018. I got it right the first time.
Damiani got it early.
Yeah, I got it early.
The rest of us played it in 2019, but to him it was.
No,
gonna give you that
you're
one,
right.
Blood.
2019. Good catch, Blood. Can't get anything by you.
Except the 7.
Except 7. All right, I'm just gonna move on then.
Wait,
From
right
Link's
by
Awakening, you win this round, Blood. You got Link's Awakening. Death Stranding. Death Stranding was. I'm glad the game exists.
Oh.
I had the most fun on zip lines. I think I spent 5 hours building zip lines at the end of the game and riding them and trying to perfect paths to make it easier for other people. But then I never found out if they ever used them, and I was sad. I think I understood the meaning of the game at that point. Next up, Devil May Cry 5. Really good combat. It's really good. In fact, I would say it's like the perfect combat. It involves swords. And more than swords.
And more than swords. And more than beasts.
I liked what they tried with Virgil. I liked trying seriously. I liked trying to attempt a ranged character like that. Was kind of nice to see. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Thank you, someone, especially Nintendo, for making a game where I felt completely had my soul crushed by having to replay the game and then treat my students like they didn't matter. You spend this whole campaign playing with your students, and then you got to pick the other house, and you'd be like, you weren't my favorites anymore. So I had to pick another house, and I had to do it another time, a third time as well. So I guess that's like accurate to being a real teacher, because you have to like let your students graduate and move on. So like you gotta get them after. Yeah, you just gotta like get new students and stuff. You gotta let them go. So important life lesson game. I kind of like that. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. It was an expansion, so I guess it's not really a game, so it doesn't count for most of the awards here at Easy Allies. Yeah. But yeah. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So this was number 2 because I swear, someone must have sent me, I must have bought the wrong version of the game when I got it originally. Because it didn't work, and I returned it, and Valve happily accepted my return. They're like, "Oh, you are totally right. This game doesn't work," and I was done with it. But apparently, everyone on the internet told me, "Oh, you didn't. That's not the right game. You didn't play the right game. Go back and get it now. It's fixed." And I played it, and it was amazing. One of the best last bosses of any video game. I think I won, and I wanted to shout like you, Huber. When I won.
Did you shout?
But I didn't want to let people know I was that happy.
Oh, got it.
I wanted people to think I was still angry at the game.
No, I get that.
They wouldn't forget his joy.
Thank you.
They'd hold that joy over him forever.
Thank you, YouTuber Donkey, for spoiling the second gorilla thing or whatever.
Oh,
I watched that video.
Shout
out.
You got spoiled on that?
Yep, got spoiled on
They
that.
almost spoiled me.
And then I told chat, and chat got so angry when I got to that part. They're like, "How dare you have seen this part? The whole game's ruined for you now." I'm like, okay, sorry. I saw one thing. Resident Evil 2. I don't know what else there is to say about this game. That's awesome. Like the only thing they did wrong was not give us more DLC. I think, but you know, yeah. But you know what? Capcom was like, "Shut up, Damiani. You think you're so cool? You think you're calling us out after all these years of harassing us and stuff? Guess what? RE3 next year, asshole." Oh, you didn't like our multiplayer Resident Evil game? Next time during reactions, shut up so you can hear the reveal and not ruin it for everybody. Yeah.
Yo, Capcom's pretty vindictive.
I know.
Yeah,
no one burned harder than Damiani himself in his Damiani.
He showed me that email too. That was messed up.
Yeah, it was a good email from them.
Kyle Bossman.
Oh,
Good job, man.
You were done, right?
Yeah.
You just decided
I
to do
I have some head jokes, but I don't think I want to say them.
It's just like Jones is
We can do it at the end.
Okay, so at the end of the stream, before we say goodnight, Damiani's got a few jokes he wants to tell.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay. Alright, so I got 2 categories for my 8 seconds, so we're gonna blow through these pretty quick. Didn't play, but utmost respect. I watched a lot of streams of these games. Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Apex Legends, and then Little Sweeties, King of Cards, A Short Hike, Piku Niku, and Tetris 99.
Nice.
Okay, so then I have top 5, and I have Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Which
Just
category is that in?
very dumb.
Okay.
Got
Got it.
Very, very dumb game. Just completely stupid. Not worth an adult's time.
How much of a child's time?
A lot of child's time. A lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But there's just something innate about like capturing a Pokemon and having this be my partner that I care about. That just still works. Kingdom Hearts 3, very dumb. Just very, very stupid. Just.
I want to see Brad in chat.
I know. I'm just so glad that Brad doesn't have to be here for this, because I just think that Kingdom Hearts 3 is too stupid for its own good, but so fun to play. And I forgot how good this game looks too. It's just like Donald's never looked better, especially in the Pirates world. Donald looks really good in the Pirates world, and also that Pirates world is really fun, and so is the Toy Story world, and so is even the Big Hero 6 world. Just really, really fun levels to play. Dragon Quest 11S, very stupid game. Just very stupid.
What do you gotta do?
Just little it just hands you a little cupcake, just a little time travel cupcake. Just here everything's good again, and just. I don't know what the game was about in the end, but it was just very fun to play through. It was a very fun RPG to level up in, but ultimately very dumb. Okay, so top 5.
Oh my God.
It's still in my my favorites. It's still a top 10 game.
Doing good.
Number 5, Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Nice.
Was almost a little sweetie, but then I realized I really like a game like this. I think you can't really recommend a lot of other games that are exactly like this. You could say like, oh, you've played this before, but this is the kind of game that I'd love to see more of. It's a game that integrates its music into everything that it is, and it's a kind of game that I like dream of. You know, when you're on the bus and you're looking out the window, it's just that kind of feeling.
I still want Sega to call them up, make a Sonic game like it.
Yeah, I would love 10 more games exactly like that game. Truly good game. And it is a little sweetie. You can play that game really fast. Luigi's Mansion 3, number 4. We talked a lot about Luigi's Mansion. I guess it's a fun character-driven game. It's fun vibes. It's just fun to be in a little haunted hotel and to be Luigi, this cowardly older brother. It's just kind of fun. It's just... the environments are weird and unexpected even if you watch all the trailers and they leak all the bosses. There's still just interesting little... It's fun to destroy things. It's fun to just wreck stuff. Yeah. And just you can go through a museum and break every single bone in the museum, and it's just fun to do that.
You're just borrowing it.
Yeah. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, number 3.
Wow, nice.
Really? Yeah. To me...
Whose phone is he holding?
Yeah.
Star Wars, just weird is like I wasn't like liking this game at first. It's almost the exact same game as Luigi to me, in that there's just this fun idea of, oh, like let me just go over this way, and you do, and it's just there's an interesting thing to do there, and then you wrap, and then just something mechanically interesting happens. A lot of that happens with Luigi too, just a little cool like, and just that kind of thing really sparks me up in a game. And so there's a lot of that in that game, and also the game gets like darker than I thought it would, and so I was like, okay, it has a lot of, it's just cool. It's a cool game, way cooler than I expected it to be. Really cool level design. Number 2, Bloodstained.
Hey.
Wow, nice.
So I never played Symphony of the Night before this year. Yeah.
What?
So I played through Bloodstained and love it to death, right? It's just so fun. This blood, the way you described it, this is how I was feeling playing this game. It's a joy, it's a pleasure to be able to grind it because of the way the crystals work, and they make your thing stronger for repeatedly killing a thing over and over and over. So there's just these strange... The game seems like it's happy to exist. It has this energy about it, right? Even in the voice acting, you know what I mean? Just how fun it is. And maybe that's because I'm aware of the story behind it.
Kill those murderers dead.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just...
Kill those murderers dead!
Yeah, it's so fun. It's just, like, by the end, I really like her mobility, you know? And the flipping and just the dashing, and so by the end of the game, you can really just move around this world in an incredible way. And so I played Symphony immediately after this. Woo! And I think Bloodstained is better designed.
Yeah.
It's a little more modern. Yeah, it's more modern. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And so it was really, really fun to play through that game this year. I had a really, really good time. Number 1, Death Stranding. Already a lot is said about Death Stranding today and in that video. I guess... So, this is what I wanted to talk about, because Huber was talking about Tetris. So there's 2 things I want to talk about with Death Stranding. So I do feel like playing Death Stranding is a lot like playing Tetris in how many calculations you're doing per second. Because I think it's actually very interesting to be carrying a ton on your back, to be this man who's going to wobble. And so it's not gonna, like every step, but every like chunk, every meter of this game, you're calculating, you're doing calculations. And so just like Blood, I've found it to be actually very fun just to move throughout this world. The actual playing of this game is, to me, constantly engaging in a weird way. And secondly, like, you know that I spend most of my time, a lot of my time, just like thinking about like humanity dying and death and just like any of what any of this is. And so it's so weird to just have a game so plainly about that. You know, not even like being cute about it, but just saying, here's what this game is about. And from the beginning, and having some nice conclusions, you know, that there's hope in extinction. That, even if humanity does go extinct, there's still lots to look forward to with that. Interesting in a really, really interesting conclusion to me. And, just a successful game all around in my book.
Get pretty good on the time because we got one more, of course, Mr. Ian Hanklas on the list.
And then Jonesy, we got a top 10 after that too.
Coming in.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The patrons. The patrons.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Patrons top 10 coming on. Coming from patrons. So initially I had a yeah, you wish. Initially I had a top 5 with some shout outs that then amounted to another 5. So I guess I'll just do a 10.
Nice.
Nice. I won't be cute. I'll just do an actual 10. Number 10, Death Stranding. I second everything Kyle said. Just kind of a fun, chill game. Don't regret playing it, which is kind of rare. Iceborne. Everything Ben said. Baba Is You, number whatever.
Nice.
Baba Is You is such a genius puzzle game. It's cray-cray. I don't even need to shout out Baba Is You. It's on my list. Number 7, Sayonara Wild Hearts. Just such a beautiful experiment. And, like, I love the idea of just making an album you play. It's fun. Number 6, Bloodstained. Everything Kyle said. I mean, I still prefer Symphony of the Night. But it was good to have a new game similar enough to Symphony of the Night that it felt good. Number 5, Resident Evil 2. That game is cozy vibes, great stuff, wonderful, love it.
Straight cozy vibes.
Straight cozy vibes. Love that. Number 4, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I am shocked that I loved this game, but I super did.
Nice.
Best surprise 2019.
So nice.
Yeah,
Ian
dude.
loving Fire Emblem 3
I
Houses.
love Fire Emblem 3
Oh, yeah.
Houses, man. I just, what a jolly game with lovely characters, and yeah, I felt like I started a second playthrough and I felt like I was betraying my little family. So I used the New Game Plus thing to like pump up my rankings with all my favorite kids, students, whatever. Control number 3, just what a magnificent game. Also just my vibe up and down, across the board. Just, oh my god. I feel at home in the oldest house. I would move in there today and live there. I love that game. Number 2, Disco Elysium, probably the best written game I've ever played. It's literary, it's complex, it's challenging, it doesn't pull its punches, it's a pretty wild game, and it's got a surprising amount of heart. It's not, I think it's easy for a game like that to be sardonic, but this one isn't. It's thoughtful and interesting, and the characters are really incredible. No Sekiro at all. My game of the year is...
Outer Wilds began as a student project in 2011. I first saw it at Indiecade in 2013, and the quirky space mystery game that I described to the devs as like Myst in space was in the back of my mind for years. When I finally got a chance to play it, I fell in love. Outer Wilds lived up to the lengthy build-up, and then some. You are a fresh member of the titular Outer Wilds Ventures, a scientific space exploration program founded by a ragtag group of explorers on a planet called Timberhearth. At the outset, the game begins like many others. You are given a simple task, and a path leads you through a few tutorial areas. Here you'll learn the all-important basics of how to fly a ship, though you likely won't be very good at it for a while. How to use your signal scope to listen for sounds in the depths of space. How to move around in zero gravity. And, if you're paying attention, what your scout can be really helpful with. You then meet a couple of your fellow astronauts and they give you a device to translate Nomai writing. The Nomai are an ancient race that inhabited the solar system before your people, and little is known about them besides they were very active on multiple planets, and they were clearly up to something. As the first member of Outer Wilds Ventures to wield a translator, you are in the very unique position to finally understand what the Nomai were saying to each other, and your colleagues are very excited to learn more about your home system. Then something strange happens. A previously inert Nomai statue opens its eyes and blasts you with radiant light. The real Outer Wilds starts here. Up to this point, you could be forgiven for assuming that Outer Wilds would be a straightforward space narrative, one that will lead you through certain zones or planets in a certain order to make sure you get the story in a linear fashion. You'd be wrong. You can now take off in your own private space shuttle and go wherever you want, exploring the many strange and intricate planets in any order, gleaning the story in any order, solving mysteries in nearly any order. And the experience doesn't suffer for that freedom, it is bolstered by it. Outer Wilds is a beautiful and thoughtful game, and its many successes begin right from the outset, achieving something that I wish happened more often in games. This is a game where the player's interests and curiosities are perfectly matched by their in-game counterpart. You, as a player, are curious to find out what is going on in the star system. What happened to the Nomai? What's the deal with these planets? What was that bright light and why did I just die? The main character, and the other astronauts you work with, all want to know the same things. And as you learn more, your character acts like they know more, often referencing things that you've seen and done to other characters, much in the same way I was talking to my friend, who had already beaten the game, about my own experiences. This basic premise might not seem like a big deal, but it sets up one of the things I love most about Outer Wilds. It respects you as a player. This is an almost entirely knowledge-based game. There are no key cards to find, no upgrades, just you and what you know. You learn a new concept, and you feel the game open up to you in a surprising new way. But the game doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't overtly worry that you might miss something. It's not concerned with you getting frustrated, because giving you the answers would be robbing you of the joy of revelation. I've spoken with more than one person who bounced off this game entirely, and that's totally okay. I would just say that this is a game that doesn't want you to rush, where death, though perhaps frustrating, is not a problem. In fact, death is a learning experience. Something didn't go the way you expected, you fell into a black hole or got crushed by sand. Oftentimes, deaths lead to new information. And if you're feeling stuck on a certain planet, you can always just go to another one and see what you can learn there. You may even find the answers you were looking for, buried somewhere you least expected them. When I was playing Outer Wilds, I would jump back and forth between planets left and right, because I was so hungry for knowledge, and every new tidbit opened up 8 new paths I wanted to explore. Something I read on Giant's Deep made me want to go to Brittle Hollow. Something I saw on Ember Twin made me crash into a comet. Something I saw on Dark Bramble made me never want to go to Dark Bramble ever again. I love lore-based storytelling in games, where the narrative feels participatory, but Outer Wilds manages to make long-dead lore feel warm and emotional instead of cold and distant. The mysteries layer together so effectively, and the narrative ties together so well with varying levels of intricacy depending on how many places you are able to visit, that I'm astonished this story can be told in a non-linear fashion. To truly express my love for this game would mean to spoil it, and to spoil it would rob it of its magic. So I've tried to keep my descriptions and footage fairly vague. I'll just say that this game made me emotional in a way that few games have. And perhaps that's a personal thing for me. Maybe this game just speaks my particular philosophical language. But I hesitate to say any more than I already have, because I want you to have your own personal experience with Outer Wilds. This is a game meant to be explored on its own terms, driven by raw curiosity. So me gushing about specifics and excellent writing, lovely music, meticulous world design, impressive simulation, seemingly legit science, particularly sweet or terrifying moments and emotional beats would be a disservice, because then you would know all those specifics and wouldn't be surprised by them. But I needed to say something, because I just need you not to skip this game.
It's awesome, man.
Thank you. Yay! I was happy I was able to get that done in time.
And I did it. Don't skip up control. Play it. No. Yeah, and check that out. That'll go live after the stream. You can watch that.
Yeah, whenever I get home.
Yeah,
If you want to go see that again.
Put it up tonight.
And we also have our patron picks, but Damiani's got jokes. Should we do the jokes first?
I thought, are we actually doing the jokes? I thought I was just, yeah.
That was a joke.
Oh,
We're-
the
I was
jokes
just-
were a joke.
joke.
That was a bit.
Yeah, what's the joke?
Top 10.
I was
bits.
putting Damiani.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, we asked our patrons at patreon.com/easyallies what their top 10 games of the year were. Do we want to talk about specifically how this shook out? Like
Oh yeah.
how they...
I got
know
numbers.
not only what the games are, obviously, but like what the process was. Like how
we did
do
it.
we know how many votes we had?
We had over 1,000 votes.
Wow.
Over
Nice.
2,000 on
Initially.
the poll.
Yeah. On the poll, over 2,000. Submissions, over 1,000.
Wow.
So we just asked people, what was your favorite game of the year? And a lot of answers, a lot of interesting ones, but there were some that just, it was like the top 10 was pretty clear, which was going to be in the top 10.
This was you and Damiani
Yeah.
did the work to put this together. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because this is fascinating.
Yeah. So we're going to go in descending order. We have a tie for 9th place between,
9th place?
yeah.
Because
So
one of
that's
them is
10
10
total.
and one of them is 9.
Yeah, it could have been tied for 10, but I don't like doing that. They tied for 9th.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Makes sense.
Devil May Cry 5 and Kingdom Hearts 3 all had 4% of our patrons' votes.
Nice. That's a,
Nice, not
Happy
bad.
to be here.
that's so jolly.
It's not bad.
That's so jolly.
And then what's really interesting is from here, it's very incremental. You know, it's just a percentage point or two between these next few games.
Wow.
Cool.
Number 8, Disco Elysium with
Hey,
5%.
all right. How many percent?
5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Number 7, Outer Wilds with 6%. Number 6, Star Wars Jedi Fallen
Yeah.
Order with
Get
7%.
that love. Get it.
4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. So
Yeah.
far? That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, top 5. Here we go. Death Stranding with 9% of the votes.
Ooh, skipped 8.
Yeah.
Get that love.
Number 4, Control with 11% of the votes.
Love Death Stranding. Wow.
Yeah. Number 3,
Top 3.
Okay.
Fire Emblem, 3 Houses with 12% of the votes.
12%.
All right. So,
Nice.
top 2, our audience is a lot like us.
Yeah.
We've got the same top
Seems
2.
that
Let's
way.
be real.
Yeah.
And there's a huge leap too between
Yeah.
like percentage of votes. Like these two games got a ton of votes.
You've been influenced.
Yes. I think, but I also think they influence us
I
back.
think
You know?
we've been influenced.
It's hard to tell.
Just a joke.
It's hard
Yeah.
to tell.
I loved it.
It's the only reason I like Astral Chain as much
been
as I do is
influenced.
because our audience keeps telling me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Influence.
Yeah, they've influenced me. Okay, so number 2 is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice
Oh.
That's
with
what I thought it was shaking
20%.
down.
Yes. That means number 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, how many percent was Sekiro?
20.
20. Wow.
Yeah, so huge leap there. Number 1, Resident Evil 2 with 22%.
Woo! Beat it by 2%.
Feels
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah, they made it right.
You done good, chat.
You did great.
Yeah, it's like if you
Yeah.
started 2019 and you knew that it would suck that you knew you had your game that you're spoiled for you. But if you knew it was going to be down between those two games, wouldn't you be so excited for 2019? You're like, yes,
Oh, yeah.
those
Oh,
two
yeah.
games are going to be guaranteed awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Now let's talk
Yeah.
about 2020.
Yeah.
They meant Resident Evil 7.
Wee. Yeah, we got a heck of a year ahead of us. It's hard not to work on GOTY as much as we've been working on it the last couple of days, the last week or so, and think about this crazy year that's ahead of us. Think about new consoles.
Yeah.
Think about what games we're going to be playing this year and have not even been announced yet. Potential
We do
sneaky
want
launch titles for the
no
Xbox
future.
Series
Thinking
X
about playing
and
the
PlayStation 5.
2019 games that we missed.
Yeah.
No, we did that. That's what all January
I'm
was.
done.
Even
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
There's
That was
always
January.
more.
I'm still
No, man.
finishing
No, we're
stuff
good.
for
I
sure.
signed out. That was my Cup of Jones editorial
know.
this morning. I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
cutting these games off. I gotta
like that,
start.
Jones.
I gotta start clean 2020. Play some new stuff. Still playing Fortnite though.
Nice.
Thank you very much for watching. I mean,
Will
we're
Fortnite come out this year?
7:59. Well, will it come out ever?
Fortnite.
Why would it?
What if
right?
it launches on next gen or something?
That would be funny.
I think it's going to launch when it's too late.
Yeah.
I think they're going to launch and be like, we're out, baby, and nobody will care at that time.
Everyone's gonna be like,
Ah,
what?
yes, the
Yeah.
world where no one cares about Fortnite.
Hubert.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree there.
Hubert. In my hands right now, in my right hand, I have a USB drive that has Resident Evil 3 on it. Right now, you can take it home right now.
Okay.
You can take it right now. You
Or,
can plug in your PlayStation 4.
or
On this side, I have a crumpled piece of paper that details what WB Montreal is working on. What do you?
how big is this piece of paper? How big is
One
this
page.
paper?
One page.
One
At my
page,
level,
okay.
every line written.
Okay, it's crumpled up.
Details, but it doesn't spoil anything. It's
So no
just,
story
it
stuff.
explains enough
Okay.
for
Who would
for
I
Hubert
get
to really
to
understand.
share those details with?
Anyone that you wanted to.
Even
Yeah.
then the paper.
Oh wow.
Only now
Respect.
if Resident Evil was like a year away,
Yeah.
I might be a little more selfish. But it's close.
It's right around the corner.
It is right around the corner.
Blood in one hand, I got
This
Animal
is fun.
Crossing.
I like this.
In the other one, I got Metroid Prime 4's release date. What do you want between these two?
Oh,
What do you want to know?
I don't care that much about release dates, so I would go with Animal Crossing.
All right. Boom! There it is.
Boom.
The
I
red
like
pill,
it,
blue
Jones.
pill.
I like it.
That's why predictions are so much fun. We got a whole year of it. That's the crazy thing about doing GOTYs. It's like, well, and now to do the next 11 months of
Wait, do
2020.
everybody else.
11 months. What? That's they're on the couch.
Do Ian. What's in your hands for Ian?
Yeah, what do you got? What do you?
That's the
Feel
trick.
good.
I don't
Oh,
care
come
about
on.
anything.
Elden Ring is one of
Elden
them.
Ring
Yeah, well,
what
there's a-
is
but
Elden
it's-
And
Ring?
Bloodborne too.
These are so. I guess Elden Ring is as big of a question mark as Prime at this point. But,
Yeah.
I'm just.
I was just kidding.
I just imagine. Well, it's kind of like me. It's like
Huh?
I
I'm nothing like you.
after. It's kind of like me.
Oh.
The desire.
The Desire Index.
Once we're past Resident Evil 2, it's like, well, just playing cleanup really with everything else. The S6 Tricky rumors. They said they'd be willing for the remaster. And they were like, yeah, sure.
Oh, that's not a rumor, man.
If they're down.
Who?
It's more information we get to whatever WB Montreal's doing. It was somebody at Electronic Arts at the time, or somebody that managed the game, or somebody that worked on it.
Chad, is that true?
It was one of those like wacky Games Radar stories.
It just
That
sounds
would
like,
be a good
so
level.
like, oh, I would love to do it, but they don't have any money
Yeah.
to actually do anything.
In my head, Jones is the one generating SSX rumors. He's
Just
like,
say I just
"Oh,
read it
hey,
somewhere. I don't recall really.
Hail
what
Mary,
everything
Pal.
was.
I'm not sure what the source was on that, but I'm pretty sure they mentioned that's coming.
Yeah.
50,000 if you want to start tweeting about SSX Tricky, you can go do that. SSX 6.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you might want to do with your 2020. What do people want to do with their week now that this crazy GOTY day? And thank you to everybody that watched.
Oh, do you
all
mean
day,
the
my
schedule?
goodness.
Because I mean, my
What's
schedule
this?
is freaking nuts.
I
but-
think
our
we're
sketch?
streaming on a week. Were we streaming tomorrow, Bud?
We're streaming tomorrow.
Yeah, we're streaming tomorrow.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Damiani.
Stream teams tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Journey to the Savage Planet. Mike and Mike.
Damiani, we're streaming.
Savage
Damiani
Planet.
and I are streaming co-op Journey to the Savage Planet.
Yeah, apparently this frightening person is in it.
Yep.
We got a bobblehead and FedEx. I'm like, okay. But yeah.
So we're gonna be doing two screens, local co-op, because it's not same screen co-op.
Online
Chat Root's been
co-op.
excellent.
Online co-op locally.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
wasn't Don't Call Me Mama, but Yes I Am Your Mama brought up for best game to play in one night. I mean, I think
We
that's
talked
like,
about it, but we cut it before the.
It wouldn't be right.
it's just not fair.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
In
right.
turn, that's what the
Yeah.
that's the
Also-
risk you run developing a game.
Huber,
with these
something's coming out
odds.
before that.
Yeah.
though.
Somebody mentioned Kentucky Route, but that came out this year.
Yeah. 2020. Look forward to that.
Prison of Love.
What's up? This is also a Savage Planet thing. That I don't
Is
know.
it a secret USB drive? I was wondering, or is it an actual
Well, no,
floppy
this
disk?
is the secret USB drive.
Huh.
It's not really
Um,
secret though.
But I mean, I
Fourth
think it's
best.
a USB drive. Yeah, fourth best, whatever.
That's the company, I think.
So
Is
then
it-
that's just a
Fourth
legit
best
floppy
space
disk.
travel or
And this is
whatever.
just a floppy disk, which I don't even
Good
have a
luck.
floppy drive right
You
now.
think anything's on there?
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably
least
like the
a-
game
at least
manual.
a JPEG,
The
yeah.
manual.
Yes.
The external one.
It's the DOS version of the game.
Now the AC kicks in.
It ran before.
But well,
Prison of Love tomorrow, the finale.
Yeah.
Woo!
Season finale.
I
That's
gotta-
gonna be with none other, last but certainly not least, Ben Moore.
It was a good time.
It was very fun.
It was a good time.
Please be excited.
Yeah.
And then the goal is to have 1 week off, and then back to Huber Syndrome right after that. And cooking up a little something to do with that I think you'll really like. It'll be really fun. So stay tuned.
And then tomorrow night we're having stream team because today we streamed all day. So Shrek 2 got
Song.
the vote for GameCube.
Buddy.
You see the
Want
Star Wars one?
told. Yes, dude.
That was really solid.
Yes.
Chat, if you're not aware of this, Shrek 2 is actually a 4-player cooperative game. So me, Kyle, and Damiani are gonna all be on controllers.
This is not the one we did at Easy Living, right?
No,
No,
so
no.
we did the one at Easy Living,
That
and
thing
people.
was a nightmare.
Yeah, they said Shrek 2 is actually good.
Oh, sick.
Which one
Yeah.
did we play? Shrek 1?
We played Shrek 1.
Yeah.
Nah, did we finish Shrek 1?
Do you remember
Yeah.
the end?
I-
We
almost.
almost.
Bloodworth got the
Didn't quite.
furthest.
There's
Yeah.
a Princess
He-
Bride game?
He died in the final
There
boss.
I think it's an adventure game. It's
Yeah,
like
there's a Princess Bride game that came out 4 or 5 years
He
ago,
put it
something like
the
that.
crazy.
5
Oh,
years
I've never
ago?
seen it. Based on the book,
It's
though, right?
so
What?
so crazy.
I am not sure.
The book is pretty close to the body.
Buddy.
Thanks, guys.
And then I saw her face.
But yeah, so Shrek 2. the,
That actress.
I'm out of my mind.
I think it's
I'm
a
in
little.
I've been here since
Got him.
9:45 in the morning.
Digital world.
Digital world.
Poor blood. Sorry.
Uh,
It's fine. It's fine.
Got all the time in the world.
I vote to stop the stream. Remember
Yeah, quick.
But yeah, the playable characters. There's Shrek, there's Fiona, there's Donkey, and then there's little gingerbread man.
Oh.
Wait, there's 4 characters or more than 4?
There's 4
Four.
because they're always on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Puss in
Mana in
Boots
a
was
way that
3,
like
wasn't he?
you can like if you're playing by yourself, they're always there. You just swap between them. But if you plug in other controllers, people can take the
Yes.
players.
What
No
else
Puss
is
in
on the
Boots is a
schedule?
snub.
That's a
Probably a supporting character that you interact with. That's why
Yeah.
you don't play as him.
Antonio
Probably
Banderas
a-
did not sign off on his
Just like the
likeness.
dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Backup.
Yeah.
Host of a huge
They're
quest
important to
line
the
in the
story.
game.
Ooh, there's more later. Chat says there's more characters to unlock later on.
Okay.
Thank you,
Ooh,
Chat. Thanks.
and Boo to do his
Yes.
quest, unlock him.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, speaking of Mana, Trials
Loyalty
of Mana will be
quest.
Thursday morning. We're getting fairly close, I think, to the end of that. I don't know how long it's going to take us to finish it, but
Yeah.
I think probably another couple of weeks and we'll be done. And then weekly hunts.
Weekly hunts. I also want to take this opportunity to actually quickly pimp a stream next week. Super special stream, event of the year. Myself, Michael P. Huber, and Bradley Ellis are going to be streaming the Phantasy Star Online 2 beta the second that it comes up. And we'll all be in the studio streaming that together.
Yeah.
So
What day is
it'll be,
that?
I think it's next Friday. Yeah.
Next.
You in?
This Friday?
Dreams.
No, next Friday.
Next
Next
Friday.
Friday.
Dreams
Next
and
Friday,
bonds
5.
collide.
Next Friday at 5. Next Friday at 5.
Then Pokemon's over.
Yeah. Almost there, Jonesy.
Just another
I'm
2
just
weeks.
Going by you.
Yep.
Following you blindly
Yep.
into the unknown.
Friday morning, Fiasco Nuts.
Public. It's up for patrons right now.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're in the Blood Pact, Friday at noon is our roundtable where we'll be going through all of your opinions on Doom 2016. Then Friday night, Banjo-Tooie continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game. Banjo-Tooie is a good game. I got Dragon Kazooie.
Had you beaten it
Whoa.
prior to this? Or played it before?
No,
This is your first time.
first time.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
How does it relate to Kazooie right now? Gut
really
reaction.
good. Really good.
Nice.
So we had him. It's the worst start.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's like 1 hour of that. But then it's just like there's a fun game finally.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Podcast is out for patrons on Friday.
Yeah.
Easy update on Saturday. Podcast for everyone else on Sunday. Monday, community showcase
Nice.
with Ben.
Yeah. Sunday's the Super Bowl.
Oh, is
Mahomes.
The
Yeah, you might
Gonna lose.
You might have to keep me
Mahomes
from talking
is
about
in
the
it?
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No.
On Monday, dude.
No Super Bowl
We're
spoilers
gonna
in
have
chat,
Super Bowl
okay?
spoilers, please.
First time he's
We're going to be
Come on.
listening to,
Dude.
to some Chrono Trigger piano music. Please do not spoil the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulling hard
Okay.
for Mahomes.
I don't even know who's playing.
Let's go
Mahomes,
Niners.
dude. Mahomes
I don't know
is
what that
playing.
means.
Go Niners.
Bonds.
The Chiefs and the 49ers?
Yeah.
Mahomes, dude. Bonds.
That's a good game.
What?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Chicago
Oh, I got
49ers.
two big things to drop on this group right here.
Oh.
Actually, they know about it. Well, they don't know about this.
Okay. All
The
right.
chat, I got something coming up the chat doesn't know about.
What the hell?
Oh, boy, I'm excited.
What's that?
We're saying though.
Blood's concerned.
Blood is concerned. I'm excited, Blood.
It was in blue.
Next week's group stream is more Temtem, right? Is that next week?
Oh, you're going
It
Yeah,
is?
not that.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk
Sweet.
about
Yeah,
that
we're doing
too,
more
but-
You're
Temtem
gonna
next
have this?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring like a
Yeah,
leveled up
X too.
character?
Sure.
Are you going to bring your leveled up
It's
What are
on
we
character?
done with the
Damiani's
week? I'm
account,
sorry, I didn't
dude.
mean-
Oh, like
No,
download
not
for
quite.
myself.
Okay. Frame Trap Monday. Tuesday Q&A will be here in studio,
Oh yeah.
followed by Temtem Redemption stream.
Temtem Redemption.
For group stream?
Yep.
Oh.
Is there a Red Dead Redemption pun there? Temtem Redemption.
Temtem Redemption is good.
Yeah.
Just Temtem
Not
Redemption.
in not in purpose, but sure.
Temtem Redemption.
Temtem Retention?
Yes.
Oh!
Temtem Redemption. Yes.
Temtem
You got it,
Redemption.
Jones.
Red Tem Redemption.
Red Tem
Tem Dead,
Redemption.
Tem Dead Redemption or Red Tem Redemption? Redemption.
Oh my gosh.
Work on that, Kyle.
Temtem Temptation.
In case we have already announced this, but in case you missed it, we have a community event coming up on March 22nd. Doors open at 4. Stream starts at 5 at the Pacific A room in the Hilton Anaheim in Hilton Anaheim, California, and we have dubbed it and dropped more details. It is going to be called Easy X. It is going to be a 4-game, 4-hour live stream with us and our community. You can read about more of it on patreon.com/easyallies. Just look at the post. It says announcing EasyX.
Yeah,
So this will
pin to
basically
the
be
top. We can pin things now.
everybody that wants to be there. We're gonna have 4 games. You're gonna have 4 boxes. You get a raffle ticket. You put your name in that box. You're gonna get 4 tickets. If you want, game number 4. If you're like, I'm all in on game number 4, I gotta play that. You can put all tickets in that one. You can split them up, 1 ticket per box. And then we will go through that box. We will call names. You can come up. If you play 5 minutes of it and you're like, all right, I'm done, then you feel free to go on and enjoy the rest of the event. But if you want to stick around for the full, probably 50-minute block, 50-minute block per game. If people want to change people out, if it's, we want to pick multiplayer games, it makes sense that we can kind of do musical chairs. People can get up and maybe if we have like 50 people that really, really want to play one game, we will try to accommodate it. It's going to be messy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to go and not be a part of the stream, you can just go and be off camera and have fun with us.
It's like a meetup.
This is going to be 2 days after Animal Crossing comes out. I'm going to be playing a ton of Animal Crossing, hopefully with all of you. And we will have some other stuff going on behind the camera. But we want to do a stream where we want to play video games with our community. We're calling it EasyX. We're going to do it on March 22nd, and we will see what the heck that is going to be. We are going to do a Disneyland day before then. I will be at Disneyland before 8 a.m. to try to get back on Rise of the Resistance. Depending on what group I get on Rise of the Resistance will depend on when I leave the park, but I'll probably be there until about dinner time.
I'm going to roll in around noon.
Well, I think what we're going to do, which has made sense, that I've seen big groups do it in
Just
years
riding
past, we'll have multiple meetups throughout the day. So at like 8 a.m. we'll meet at the entrance. We'll try to get on Rise. At 11 a.m. we'll meet at the carousel. At like 2 in the afternoon we'll meet to get some hot dogs or something. So if you want to hang out with the group, that's great. If you want to go off and do your own thing and then meet up with us later, that'll probably make sense. But that'll kind of be a official, unofficial, because Disneyland doesn't like to do any favors when you actually go as a group. It's like you're just a group like any other group. But that will be the day before. And then thanks to Mr. Ben Moore suggesting this, along with some people in our community, talked about they really want a repeat of something that we did the last couple years, which is a meetup at a park, which will either be the Tar Pits, where we've done it previously, or a park more close to Anaheim, in case you guys are staying in Anaheim, or I've already made plans for the events we are already planning in Anaheim. So you can go to a location that's a lot quieter. There's no big event. It's not going to be live on the internet, and we'll be at a place that either has cheap parking or is free to travel to. So if you're like, I'm going to burn so much money flying out there and staying at a hotel, I can't go to Disneyland as much as I would like to. But considering Saturday and Sunday are going to be such crazy days, it will most likely be on the Monday following. So I know some people are like, well, I'm going to miss that too because I will be traveling back. But after the fact, we realized hadn't originally planned for it, but we want to. Selfishly, we just want more time to hang out with people. Yeah. And people have reached out and said they wanted to do that. So if you will be in town, if you're planning on staying a little bit longer, we will gather on Monday. More details about that soon. Fun little present
people
here.
Are asking for Anaheim, area, so we'll have to find a park there.
Anaheim? Okay, great.
Oh yeah, EasyX is free.
EasyX will be free. You don't have to get tickets for EasyX. But, there will be the raffle, so you want to put your name down.
What in the world are you pulling out here?
I'm pulling out The Lost Room, starring Peter Krause, Juliana Margulies, Elle Fanning, and Kevin Pollak.
I think I've heard of this.
Hey, allies, sending this one for the Control fans in the group. I was constantly reminded of it when I played through the game. Thanks for everything you do. Twofer from chat. Toopher from chat.
Twofer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's watch
DVD special features inside the Lost Room featurette, 16:9 widescreen. Nice. English 5.1 Dolby digital audio, English and Spanish subtitles, and English closed captioning. Terrific, beautifully written and sharply directed, says the Detroit Free Press. Inventive and entertaining, dailynews.com.
We should do a commentary track, Jones.
There we go. The Lost Room. Yeah, it's like Monsters Inc. on the front there.
Ian, someone was complaining that
you made the
Outer Wilds. I had the same feeling last night.
That ain't a complaint, baby.
That's the guy from
I had the same feeling last night where I was approving that video, and then I'm like, Ian, I really want to play Outer Wilds right now, but I have to edit Brad's review.
I got
don't skip, not
I got
live.
intro theme-itis, man. I just hear the intro music to Outer Wilds, and I'm like, yeah, I want to play it. I hear Outer Worlds, man. I'm like, no.
Jones, man, you left off the most important
I hear BB's theme, and I'm just like,
runtime 284 minutes.
Whoa!
It's a show. It's a series, right?
Is it a show?
No.
It's a movie, I think.
Let me see.
284
minutes.
Is that the movie or all of the features put together?
Feature runtime.
3-episode show.
That's a show. It's a show.
Okay.
It's a show.
Designed to be watched in one go?
No, it's probably a mini-series on TV or something.
Okay.
That's like the first time I saw Battlestar Galactica, they had no ending, and like 4 hours into it, I was
Got
like,
it.
what's going on? It just kept going.
They put it out as they put out the miniseries as one thing later.
Yeah, it was just like the longest
Cover
episode.
Jones, you're gonna do your fun thing?
No,
what?
no fun.
No, I'm not doing a fun thing. What?
You are.
On Monday, I'm doing a. Yeah. I mean, it's Cover Jones. It's not fun. It's kind of pushing it. But but this Monday, I am gonna go through the office. One of the big things we talked about. I felt bad because we just had our big 2020 meeting, and everyone's like, "Give me the details," and it's like, it was kind of. Mostly like specifics of like what tables do we need, and like there was a lot of specific stuff when we looked at these rooms, stuff that we want to buy, and some of you that just kind of pop in on our podcast every now and then, watch a group stream here and there. You may not know some of the improvements if you don't watch Cup of Jones every week, which I totally understand. You might not know a lot of fun stuff that improvements we've made to the studio this year. So I'm going to go room by room someday this week when I come in, probably on Thursday, and just hang out in each room and talk about what we want to buy for that room, things that we have on our shopping list
now,
for this year. Yeah, you got to take a look at that microwave.
Get
Get one last look at our old couch before it is gone for good. A new couch, and finally getting rid of that first couch that we bought.
What?
The first goal we ever had on Patreon.com/JCLS. Are you sad we're gonna get rid of the couch? You want it?
I've been saying couch cover for years.
Get rid of that couch.
I still think
Cushions, I don't know, man.
No.
I think that couch is a little.
That couch.
There were
is
critters who
garbage.
definitely
I just
slept
got like
on
an
it.
independent message
Yeah.
from Blood on Slack. He's like, we gotta get rid of that couch.
Yeah.
That couch is
I had a lot of time here after we did that early morning direct, and like, all right, I got some work to do around here.
You walk these halls
It's almost
long
like
enough,
that.
you feel it.
It's almost like
The
that
changes.
couch has had 9 people on it for years.
It's almost like I slept on that couch 20, 30, 40 times.
And it's got
Thousands
rained
of
on
times.
and sun
That couch has been
bleached.
rained on. Yep. I mean, Sophie peed on that couch. As much as we love Sophie, it's
Wait,
like
when?
she's I mean, more than once. I mean, there's just no question.
There's no question.
This is something we know.
Constantly.
She really,
on it right
she really took to the Allies' essence, and so she wanted to be a part of that. You know, that's just the way it is. Maybe more information that you needed, but more specific details. If you don't know what Cup of Jones is, it's a show I do 10 a.m. Pacific time every Monday. You can ask me questions. We'll talk about the business, and that will be my editorial for this Monday. It won't be like, it won't be, just be super basic, me going through the rooms and talking about stuff. But fun to talk about all of the ideas. I think our shopping list had like 60, 70 items on it. There's lots of things. Got some pictures we got to frame.
We should bring the couch to Easy X.
We should bring the couch to Easy X and we will all rip it up, rip and tear. One last thing that I want to announce before we dip. This will be a Patreon post later. There will be more specific details about this. There will be a video that is pimping this out. But because this is going to be a live stream, it's fun to tell our Twitch audience first, before anyone else, that we are doing this. Should not be a massive surprise because we've talked about doing it earlier. We finally secured the date, February 18th, taking over the group stream. The first Easy Allies Magic the Gathering tournament. 4 contenders, myself, Ben Moore, Michael Huber, and Brad Ellis. Oh, and you, that's right.
No, you're
Brad
not.
Ellis
You're not
and
playing.
I'm not.
You're a commentator.
You're a commentator.
Well, who's 4 then? Oh, you're
Bloodworth.
4. Oh,
I'm
you're 4.
4th.
We okay. We Rochambeau.
This is why we need the video and
You're
the
botching
Patreon
this.
post.
I was
all
almost
the
a
notes right
contender.
here, and you're trying to do it from memory.
I was almost a contender.
You want me to do this, John?
We will be probably between 5-6 hours ish is what we're planning on. We're going to start it at 2 p.m. It will be for charity. We will be raising money for Australia relief for the fires. So it'll be our first fundraiser of the year. It'll be our first tournament of the year, and it'll be the first time that we have streamed Magic the Gathering. But Brad and I are wearing suits. We're gonna talk that up because we're gonna be excited about playing Magic. We're not gonna play it in here. We're gonna play it on the studio stage, and it'll be really fun with all the cameras and the switcher and everything we got in there to deliver Magic the Gathering excitement. We're gonna be cracking packs for that. We're gonna be cracking open brand new
draft, baby.
It's a draft. We're gonna be cracking brand new boxes open to get those cards in there.
The commentators
And,
get to be in another whole room this time.
It's gonna be
20
intense.
years.
It's gonna be intense. But yeah, it'd be obviously wonderful. You can help us raise some money for people that desperately need it in Australia. But it would also be fun if you just show up and watch us be goofballs and play Magic the Gathering. But so that was definitely the 2020 meeting. That was something that we had goals for this year, and it's going to be exciting to be able to pull that off before we meet at the end of March for our very fun 4th anniversary.
The draft
But
will
more
be a
details
part.
about the MTG draft, more details about what games we're going to be playing at EasyX. We have that narrowed down to like a short list of 8 or 10 games. So we'll be solidifying what that is. We'll let you know well in
Next
advance.
couple of weeks.
So when you're preparing to go to EasyX or watch it, you can be like, all right, I'm all in on that one game. And then more stuff that we talked about that's going to be this year, but that will hopefully kick off 2020, wrapping up January. Got a fun event to look forward to next month, another fun meet and greet to look forward to in March. And Blood talked about the week, more fun stuff to watch. And then, of course, if you're just way down into the group streams, we'll be back next Tuesday night. Stream, what? Did we say?
Temtem!
Temtem!
Temptation.
Red Temtem Redemption. Next Tuesday night, we'll all be here for it. Thanks for watching, everybody.